All right, good morning and welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Happer and Schaefer with you on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you this morning as we this is the last day of that we're going to reach 40 degrees, I believe, in quite some time. So get ready. That whole season thing we were talking about with Matt the other day in the crossover, we're going into the bad one.
Yeah, he was a little ambitious about where we were.
Yep.
Or maybe not even ambitious, just I guess he
had skipped several steps.
Yeah. And so his version of this is hell, I think, is upon us.
I believe so.
Which is great because my face is already drying out, and
oh my God,
the just miserableness that is the absolute dryness of Nebraska winter has already been here, even when the weather has been passable.
Schaefer, 2 days ago on whatever day that was, Monday, I don't know what your reaction is gonna be to this. I cut my lip on a Jimmy John's sandwich.
I believe it.
Okay, good.
How does that happen?
So it's not Jimmy John's fault. It's not Giancarlo's fault. It's not Jimmy John's fault. I put the sandwich up. Sometimes it cracks a little bit, and it's got those. It just has kind of sharper.
Yeah, the edges. Yeah,
edges. So I put the sandwich up to my mouth. I was very hungry. I wanted to eat the sandwich, and I put it up to my mouth, and it stabbed me in the lip, and I was bleeding my own blood for several minutes. I couldn't make it stop. That's how dry it is.
Yeah, no,
I'll hold the towel, and the towel just slips out of my hands.
I have never been someone who's had a whole lot of issues with my lips being chapped, and then this year it's just been the biggest fight I've ever dealt with. It's like I need to have chapstick with me at all times, and so that's infuriating. I constantly just want to dunk my face in a bowl of water.
Yes,
because it just feels so tight, and I can feel the cracking on it.
Is it possible?
So then the solution is you're just putting a bunch of moisturizer and oil on your face all the time, and that doesn't even.
That's
great.
not.
I have bad issues with the hands.
Is it possible to get some just humidity? Can it be 12 degrees and humid?
You can buy a humidifier and it doesn't feel like it does anything. I live in a house that has a total home humidifier unit inside its AC, and I don't feel like it's done anything for anyone in the household. So, Nebraska winter, you're always fun. It's a reminder of why I get mad at my ancestors for choosing to settle here. But then I realized, I could have left at any point in the last 20 years. Have I? No, I didn't. And when I did leave, I went north to South Dakota. So it's not like it was a better decision made by me.
There are
not an upgrade.
There are many positives to living here. We love it. It's great here. But sometimes I do ask myself why.
The time zone is great.
The time zone is great.
A 6-week period where I would rather be somewhere else. And usually 4 of those weeks are in the winter and 2 of them are in the just awful part of the summer, which is now reserved mostly for August, I think. Correct. August, early September is the terrible part.
Mm-hmm.
So because the weather calendar has shifted on us. Now we're really actually in winter.
Oh, it's
get bad in February.
It's about to start. No doubt about it.
Soup weekend.
And you know that because we have a doubleheader of basketball tonight in the state. Creighton will get after it at 6:00 against Xavier this evening, and Nebraska goes for 19-0 against the Washington Huskies this evening. So we'll talk about that plenty throughout the show today. We have a couple of esteemed guests. So usually on Wednesdays, we're going to be speaking with Sam Mchuan from the Omaha World Herald and Lauren Michelson from KETV. A source close to the situation told me that Lauren has been feeling under the weather yesterday, and for the last several days actually, and she will not be joining us today, but she does have a replacement. So Sam will join us at 8:30, and we'll be joined today by our dear friend Frank Caliendo at 7:00. This is a new time. Schaefer, I don't even know that you knew this yet. 7:00. I received a text from Frank Caliendo at 5 this morning, 5:05. And it was hey, can you do 7? 8 is no good anymore. Can you do 7? I said, absolutely. 7:00 is perfect.
It's like a bartering system.
You might be the earliest guest in this show's history. I don't think there will be anyone any guests who ever really join us in the 6 o'clock hour, unless we're talking to somebody in a far different time zone.
Yeah.
I mean, is it possible we ever talk to somebody in Europe, and we could get them in the 6 o'clock hour?
I mean, I would say it's always possible.
Yeah.
I would always leave, or
Maybe
someone
we do some
like
really good World Cup.
someone
Cup
really
coverage,
wants to come on, but they can only do it as early as possible. I think I've done a 6:50 hit before.
Really?
Just because there was something recruiting wise, and I had a lot of things going on, and I was going to be up anyways, so I just did it.
Sure, I'll go on the radio at 6:50.
Yeah, so that might be. It was a one time only for me thing.
Maybe someone's NFC team will play in Europe next season, and one of us will be over there just to watch.
Wow.
Which person is that? We all
who knows?
All of
Who
our favorite
knows?
teams are
Joey's
NFC
going to
teams.
Europe, is what I understand.
Joey, you're going to Europe?
I should take advantage of the flight benefits provided by my sister, who is an airline pilot.
That is true. Did you know this about
No,
Joey?
I didn't.
He has special privileges.
Wow.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Should take advantage of those.
And then he just, goes to like a very remote place in Colorado. With
Well,
his
that's where
privileges.
my folks live. and I have to take a different airline to get over there. I have to take 2 different airlines.
So he doesn't use his privileges for that one. But
when I visit her, I'll use the special privileges.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see if we can if you could pull some strings and talk to our early guests in Europe at some point. So Frank will join us at 7. He has shows this weekend at the Funny Bone, Friday and Saturday. I believe Friday is sold out and Saturday is close to. And there is talk of potentially another thing, another one coming. So Frank Caliendo, ladies and gentlemen,
That's exciting.
will join us at 7.
How are we attacking this? Are we just gonna throw requests at him? Is it what? How do we do this?
I think we talked. You could ask him whatever you want. He's great. He's one of those people where you don't really have to say anything. He'll just kind of talk for 15 minutes.
Okay.
It's incredible. I know you have some specific requests.
Just one. Just
you want to hear Casey Kasem.
Very much so.
So I think you should ask, how would Casey Kasem talk about whatever we're talking about? Like Creighton basketball.
Where would Casey Kasem find the answers to this season for Creighton basketball?
Yeah. Can Casey Kasem,
in what specific 1966 song will Casey Kasem find the answer for Creighton basketball?
Ryan Kalkbrenner. Yeah, something like that. So he'll join us at 7. That's the lineup powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Frank will also be at the Creighton game tonight. He has fancied himself quite the Creighton fan over the last couple of years before his shows coming up this weekend. Elsewhere today on the show, we will talk about those basketball games upcoming tonight. Some local stuff that I want to get to that we didn't get to yesterday. It is nearing Joey's Christmas.
Joey's Christmas.
What are you thinking? We just passed Christmas.
Mini Christmas.
So
I'd say
Thanksgiving or something like that. We're going into the holiday season for Joey because schedules are starting to come out. And the Big Ten schedule is on the horizon.
They already announced one game for the Big Ten Conference, and I got that game wrong.
So do you have your list handy? Do you have it?
Let me pull it up.
You don't have to have it right now. Is it a possibility at some point during the show today, just, for you to throw a couple teasers at us, throw a couple games at us?
I can definitely do that.
Perfect. That's exactly what I want.
Does it have to be any kind of game or just whenever, or just Nebraska's game?
Maybe, no, not Nebraska's. It's just something that you feel good about. Something you feel good, like this is going to happen on this day.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'll see what I can get.
We will get the schedule master Joey on that here in just a little while. We have a Baker Mayfield, an emerging Baker Mayfield rivalry.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about this one.
Which is exciting. We'll play a game of something or nothing. The Baseball Hall of Fame class was announced yesterday. And Schaefer doesn't like when guys get in the Hall of Fame who have banged trash cans.
Yeah, I'm out on it.
Okay. Mike Eckler, almost officially gone.
I thought it was announced yesterday, officially gone.
I only saw the Matt, maybe I missed it, but I only saw the Matt Zenit's it's definitely happening.
Yeah.
I don't know that I saw the
official.
Release.
Yeah. Well, I think at this point we can definitely know that he's not coming back.
I was planning on it anyway, but yeah, we will wrap that whole situation up. We have our Signetti of the day.
Yeah, I saw those.
Signetti of the day. I'd like to talk about Chicken Bacon Ranch, and a new player is suing the NCAA for more eligibility, and it might work. So these are very exciting times. That's what we have coming up on the show today. We want to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer and Schaefer, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer, at Joe Warcola on the Twitter feed. You can find us there. Email Connor at 1620thezone.com, Mike at 1620thezone.com, and Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to the YouTube streamers. Hi, everybody.
They're suggesting Olympics. We could have somebody from coverage of the Olympics in the 6
The Olympics, the World Cup.
Yeah.
So
there's possibilities here.
Even though both of those things are here in the next couple of years.
That is true.
It's not one of those things where it's like we have to wake up.
Where are the Winter Olympics happening again?
They're in Milan. They're in Milan, Italy.
Okay, but the Summer Olympics in 28.
Yeah, the next one.
Yeah. And then we have the World Cup this summer. People forget. There will be the greatest soccer players in the world just 3 hours down the road trying to get Kansas City for lunch.
It's too bad it's in here, because if it was like in Europe, we would be watching the games during the morning show.
That's true. We missed our chance.
We're gonna have to take advantage of the Winter Olympics for that, and that's basically all. Maybe there could be some World Baseball Classic in the AM.
Is it the Australian Open on?
Yeah, it's on.
It could be.
Let's go find it.
Should be on ESPN2.
All right, we're gonna go to the Australian Open. I heard you guys told me that was happening over the last couple of days, so that's got to be probably on.
Yeah, it's that time of the year
right now. Nope, they're playing some crap on ESPN. All right, so that is the setup for the show today. Appreciate you guys.
When is that not true, by the way?
No, rarely.
Yeah,
rarely. Let's take a phone call to start things off. Why not? Here's Andrew on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Hi, Andrew.
Happer, did you find out about that recruit for me?
I don't even remember what you asked about. I apologize. Which recruit are we talking about?
It was the Creighton recruit that they're still in on. He's like number 20th in the nation.
Are you talking about the guy that they have signed over across the, from Storm Lake?
No, not Kuhn.
Okay.
No, somebody else. But anyway, that's not really why I called. I called to say with this season that Creighton's having, and Max kind of floating time schedule on when he plans to hang it up, do you feel like he's closer to hanging it up after this year? Or does not want to leave on a bad note like this?
Yeah, Andrew, honestly, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. And I'm glad that's why you called instead of talking about the recruit who I don't know much about Creighton basketball recruiting outside of people they have committed. I've been thinking about that a lot over the last couple of weeks. I genuinely don't have I could really, really see it both ways for him. And I don't know, sort of, obviously nobody feels good over there about how this season has gone so far. And that tends to put a sour taste in your mouth. Maybe it's a situation where he looks at it and says, yeah, this is a good time. If there's some roster turnover after this season, this is a good time for Huss to put his stamp on it, and he can, build whatever team that he wants to build, not just for now, but in the future. Or he says, no, I believe that there's still plenty left out there for this group, just tweaked a little bit for next year, and I want to be there when it happens, and it wouldn't be like an ego thing or anything like that. But to answer your question, to round it out, like Andrew, like I don't have a sense one way or the other on it. I really don't know on what. Do you have any thoughts on that, Schaefer, or are we just trying to find the recruit over here?
Well, I think I found the recruit, but
You're talking about Jason Richardson kids.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been is that who you were talking about, Andrew? Yeah, I know about him.
Yeah, he's the number 20 ranked on 24/7 Sports.
He's visited. I mean, he was here.
He was here in
couple weeks
October.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's listed warmer on the profile, which is a usual indication that there's a strong likelihood of a commitment. So
There you go.
It seems like this is who Andrew's talking about. I don't cover Creighton recruiting. I also don't particularly care that much, but this is what I was able to find. I assume that this is accurate.
Honestly, I don't even remember that Andrew called and said that. That was last week. And
I do remember.
To me.
I just didn't look it up.
Gotcha.
At that time. Anyways, Doug McDermott, and I did it again. Greg McDermott. It's been like one of those rumblings that you would just hear, even if you didn't follow Creighton, in the day-to-day or whatever else, you would just hear like, oh, he wants to retire, spend time watching Doug play, got a house in Phoenix. Like there's all these different things about, Greg McDermott. And then when each opportunity has come for him to potentially like leave when that great class of players, when it's effectively when Kalkbrenner left, it felt like that was the time that he would move on, but he chose not to. So I think it seems like he's interested in tackling new challenges. Now, does a year like this take so much wind out of that?
That's Andrew's question. Like I
don't think that it would. I think that you had to allow for that to be a possibility when you decided this. So there seems like there'd be another arbitrary endpoint in the future. I also don't know that this is how you'd want to go out either.
Exactly. I don't have a lean one way or the other. I feel this certainly could be the last year. And it could be one more. It could be. I guess I doubt that it's two more. I feel like we're kind of, there's a cap there.
So you actually think that it would be either this year or next?
After this year or after next, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That would be my guess. I don't feel like it goes beyond that at this point. So, I don't know. Maybe they finish off the season well, and it changes the feel about this thing a little bit. But honestly, he cares about the program over anything. And so I think part of the reason he came back this year is to help, kind of usher in the new era and try and put it into a good place. And so if that's the case, and if it's that, then maybe that's the indicator that there is another year, because it's obviously not in a terrific position. Certainly not over what it's been like over the last 5 years, where they've won an NCAA tournament game every year, and they went to an Elite Eight and another Sweet 16 or two more Sweet 16s and all that stuff. So I don't know, Andrew. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I am just kind of running around in circles on it. I don't particularly have an answer. So that could be
my guess would be it wouldn't be after this year. I just don't see this being how you'd go out.
I don't know.
But if it's, I guess you look into the future and it's like, all right, well, now I've got to go into the portal. I've got to do this all again. Is it a better bet for next year? Do I want to?
And that's tough. That's tough on everybody.
Oh yeah,
doing the portal and doing the whole NIL thing with the agents and all that stuff. And we've seen it not. Coaches just sort of have walked away from it over the last several years, especially in college basketball. So I don't know. Let's take a break here. That we will talk more about Creighton and sort of. I mean, we sort of had them on the rundown over the last couple days and it never got to them. And tonight they play. So we'll talk about where their season's at and what's left to get out of it and the problems and all that stuff as they lead into their game tonight against Xavier. We'll take a break and we'll be back after this. Happy you're with us here on 1620 The Zone. All right, so the Australian Open did come on, and in the ESPN2 guide here just doesn't say that it is. So we do have live sports for the first time ever in Happer and Schaefer history. We have live sports on during the show, which is fantastic. I would love to go to Australia. My dad always said that he wanted to go to Australia. And I said, Dad, why do you want to go to Australia? And I don't know that I ever got an answer or if he ever really could explain it to me. And now, as I've aged and I've become a father, for some reason, I now feel the pull to go to Australia. I don't know what it is.
Could it be the beautiful landscape?
It could be. It could be the weather.
Could it be the accents of the people?
It could be the accents of the people. It could be the fact that everything is opposite. Everything is different. You know?
Or the venomous animals of Australia.
The venomous animals from Australia.
You just want to hold a koala?
I wouldn't mind holding a koala.
You want to be in a boxing match with a kangaroo?
I don't want to be in a boxing match with a kangaroo.
The kangaroo would win.
I think so. Those things are giant.
Well, they're large and then they bounce a lot.
Yeah. I've seen Kangaroo Jack. Those things will mess you up.
Didn't we have an old coworker that absolutely hated the movie Kangaroo Jack?
Probably.
And by extension, Anthony Anderson.
Yeah, I think so. That guy experienced a great basketball win for his team last night as UCLA beat Purdue. Nebraska basketball now becoming the only undefeated team in the Big Ten Conference. Wow. Look at that. Sitting alone at the top.
Huge win for UCLA.
Sitting alone. Yeah, they were down by, I think, 6 or 7 with a minute and a half left. Came back and won late. So UCLA was sort of like a bubbly type of team. Gets that big win last night against Purdue. We'll talk about Nebraska basketball, Big Ten basketball as we go on throughout the show today. Officially, by the way, I just saw this. Ole Miss star edge rusher Prince Will Umanmielen has officially entered the transfer portal as the paperwork, I guess, finally went through. On the portal rankings, or at least this is 24/7's because Matt Zanitz is a CBS guy, ranks as the second best available player in the portal.
They were high on him going into last year's portal cycle, and he probably did nothing to dissuade that.
Would he be interested in coming back to Lincoln?
I'm guessing he's going straight to LSU. Lane's picking up his bags and driving him to Baton Rouge and just taking one of his best defensive players, which here's what I don't get. Like, you're at Ole Miss, you just made the semifinals.
Yeah.
You're going to go to LSU where you're still very much a house under construction.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably just doing it for more money would be my guess.
I think there's probably the expectation that they're going to win right away. I'm sure you'd be able to bet
against that.
Really?
Yeah.
What would not winning right away look like for them next year?
I don't know. Like, would it surprise you if they're a 3-loss team next year?
No.
Then they're not going to be in the college football playoff.
If they're a 3-loss team.
Yeah, well, yeah. And so I kind of expect that they will be, because I don't know that they've done anything that's going to vault them up into. I guess their hope would be that they switch places with Ole Miss, but they're still going to have to.
I mean, you're going to have a shot to be that. You're going to have a shot to be that team.
Yeah, no, it's
just like they have every other year.
I don't know if they're going to be better than Texas, which missed out on the college football playoff. I don't know if they're going to be better than Notre Dame that missed out on the college football playoff. Like, there's all these other teams that they have to move past, and there's just this perception that LSU is better than they are when they've had one amazing season every 10 years or so.
Yeah, it's been a generally underachieving program, but I mean, I get it. Like, it's the coolest program in the country. They have
It's the coolest program in the country?
Definitely.
Is that backed up by anything?
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to say, because I feel like the perception from the youths is definitely Oregon.
Really?
I think they've been passed up by, like, Texas.
Texas is not cooler than LSU. Let's do cool program
I get
rankings.
Where you're coming from with it. I'm just like the recruit side of it.
LSU seems like the coolest place to go to college in America.
Interesting.
LSU or I mean, probably. I'm talking about for athletes, I suppose. It's kind of a little bit of everything. It's athletic department. It is like
The success of the
location
other
where you're
sports.
at. Yes, like
Is this based on Livy Dunn for some reason?
no,
Okay.
no. It was that way before that.
Lolo Jones?
I don't know who it's not based on any particular person. but you know, there has always been this thought at LSU that it is turnkey, that it is the inherent things about the place that make it great, right? It's not just the fleeting run of success or lack of success or things like that. Like that's what makes a lot of other places in the country cool. LSU is LSU. That's what makes LSU
yeah, I mean,
cool.
like the night game at LSU seems like a real thing. The fan base is absolutely a real thing.
Yeah.
A lot of it was LSU's success is the idea of the proximity of all the talent around it. I've never really thought of it in the sense of just like exuding unbelievable levels of coolness relative to others.
I think it exudes
I know that like if
levels
I
of
was
cool.
asked like, hey, you have to support one of these teams, LSU or largely the field of SEC, I would take LSU just because I like the colors. Shaq went there famously. He made his most money in college.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always been that element for me personally, but I didn't know that I've never heard anyone refer to it as the coolest team.
Maybe I'm the first person to do it. If so, I believe that they should put up a banner or something like that as you walk onto campus. Connor Happer once said this is the coolest place in America. I don't know how it's like. I don't know how it's not.
I mean, I can direct this audio to people down there and see if we can get that banner made.
Go ahead, toss it on down there.
All right,
let's see what
we can do.
Think. But I wouldn't say that I'd be the first to say that. Like we get a comment on the YouTube from Nick. He says LSU is absolutely the coolest. Like that doesn't, and he says Oregon doesn't win championships and uniforms only get you so far. Like, I'm not, this is not disparaging to Oregon. Like Oregon it's a lot of the same points that I'm making for LSU. But there's like this warmth to it, and also the history and tradition and all that stuff. Like I could see why even coming off of a college football playoff semifinal appearance, I could see why one of the best players in the portal would want to leave that and go to LSU. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I just don't think it's based on like. I think it's based on Lane Kiffin being there and probably just a lot more money.
These decisions are never based in reality. They're never like, we'll be better. They're like, we'll win there next year.
I wouldn't say never, but some are not based.
It's just like, where could I get more money? And am I going to have fun? And do I need to change the scenery? And do I like this head coach? And am I attracted by the the bright, shiny lights? Like, I don't know what Principal Uman Mielen's thinking, but he started at Nebraska.
I think that's been a question that's been asked of him many times.
He probably got a little bit of taste of the cool at Ole Miss, and now he wants the full poo-poo platter.
The full poo-poo platter. The gumbo. He wants all the gumbo.
He wants the gumbo of cool at LSU.
I've never had that thought before. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I just have never approached it from that lens.
We'll talk about this a little bit later on in the show. But speaking of the SEC, there is a potential incoming lawsuit that will be of note. I think
about the basketball player.
Yes, Charles Bediako, formerly playing at Auburn.
Throw it out.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to. I'm not sure.
This is so dumb.
It is.
So dumb.
But the NCAA has said, hey, look, we are not going to grant any eligibility to people who have played who have played in the NBA. Bediako has not. He has played in the G League.
He declared we're going 2 years of eligibility.
And he was not drafted.
And he knew when he declared he was foregoing 2 years of eligibility.
But keep in mind, we have a player who was drafted to the NBA draft and played in the G League who is currently playing college basketball.
So dumb.
It's very bizarre.
So dumb.
Very bizarre.
It's also been how many years since he last played?
It's been two, I believe. He finished up in 23, so this will be the third season out.
Yeah. Definitely need to make sure that he can come back.
Some of the language in the lawsuit is really, really funny. Like something along the lines of like, there will be suffering, like emotional suffering or something like that. I don't know if suffering was exactly the word, but it was pretty funny.
With the Chambliss thing, it all comes down to, can you story tell and can you find the sympathetic judge? Because none of it's based in actual reality. None of it's based in, the same thing that you were sort of saying why a guy would move. It's not based on actual reason.
Well, I think the case...
He wants money.
Right. He wants money. And the case is, like you said, get a sympathetic judge. And the judges have been awfully sympathetic to college athletes or former college athletes in recent years. You could say, hey, look, I made a bad decision by declaring for the NBA draft and doing what I did at that time. And now I feel like, and then you could jump in there and take the case that many other college athletes have taken over these last couple of years, which is I am losing earnings potential while I am sitting here in the G League. Like I could go to Alabama. So I could, there's that piece of it. And
but so this isn't arguing against you, but just in the common sense refrain of, did you not consider you would be losing earnings potential when you left during the NIL era?
Maybe he
could go to the NBA because you thought you had a greater earnings potential. Why should you get exempt from this previous rule?
Maybe he could say, I got bad advice. I was
You're not the only person to receive bad advice, sir.
No. But they've, granted some leniency to a lot of people who have gotten some bad advice recently. And he wouldn't be the first person to go to the courts and say, please, please, please.
This one's a little different, though, because this individual had already been in college, whereas the other guy that is now at Baylor had not previously played in college.
Is that true?
Wasn't he NBA to G League Academy to or high school to G League Academy to NBA?
I believe that is correct. Yes, that is
so
correct.
Then,
he played overseas.
And so there's, this one would be a new case in which could have wide sweeping ramifications.
Yep. Because
what's to say that if you left at any point and didn't end up professionally, that you wouldn't be able to get your eligibility back?
Exactly. And that's why we're watching this. So he never played in any NBA games, Charles Bediako, but he did sign an NBA contract. And when Charlie Baker put out a statement a couple weeks ago on, remember it was over Christmas break when we were on break here at 1620 The Zone, there was this whole slew of activity as far as former college athletes and current NBA players who are going to try and go back and get their college eligibility. We thought for a second that it was just going to be open game on like NBA benches in college basketball. And that didn't end up happening because the NCAA president, Charlie Baker, came out and he said, we will not grant any eligibility to any person who has signed an NBA contract. Point blank, period. That is not going to happen. And
does that open the door for like Terrell Taylor to come back for Creighton? The guy who made the shot?
I know who he is, and I don't know.
Would they take it back?
I don't think they would. He's probably old. I mean,
he's older than us.
He made that shot in 2002. So,
but I mean, if they're looking for some help,
I don't think they would go there. I mean,
you just go through all the files of former players.
You know who I thought of? A guy who left early and it didn't really work out for him professionally, and he's not interested in playing right now because he's coaching. Actually, Marcus Zagorowski. It's like, what if you called him and you said, "Hey, look, do you want to come back? I think we can get you some eligibility. Would you like to be our point guard this year?"
So bad.
Even though he's literally an assistant coach on Alabama's staff right now.
Yeah. I would imagine probably a better fit for him than coming back to play basketball.
Probably. And, never know what these people want to do with their lives. And the other note here with Bediako is that he is in his final year of his 5-year clock that the NCAA has. So that started in 21 for him. And so this semester, actually, this semester that we're in right now would be his final chance at eligibility, point blank period, because the clock is up after this year. So I'm sure he could take that to the people who are seeing this case and say, please do this right now, or I'm going to file, we're going to file an injunction and we're going to be eligible to play tomorrow, or like whatever it might be. So I don't know. People are watching this closely, and I don't know. I just have a feeling we're going to see him in an Alabama uniform soon.
So dumb.
That's my feeling, at least at this point. So we'll see on that one. All right, we'll take a break. We will hit a couple more things to round out the hour here, and Frank Caliendo will join us in about 15 or 20 minutes. Our dear friend Frank. We're back after this on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. Dear friend. I will talk more about basketball around here in just a little bit. 6 o'clock tonight in Omaha. It is Creighton and Xavier. And 8 o'clock in Lincoln, it will be Nebraska and Washington. Mike Schaefer has gotten so into basketball that he is rooting for other teams that have no impact on him whatsoever to be sad and disappointed. What is going on with you?
Yeah, last night I was working a little bit after my son had gone down to sleep, and I happened to notice that Miami of Ohio was trailing late in the game against Kent State, and I had made the prediction on this show that their first loss would be to Kent State, so I was like, I better tune in. I need to see how correct I am on teams I've never watched play and players I have no idea who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to have very strong thoughts on it.
To say, see, I told you so. I knew they'd lose to Kent State.
So it was on ESPN Plus, so I just threw it on my computer, which is not the optimal way to watch.
Whoa, you weren't watching Creighton and Xavier women's basketball last night?
I wasn't. No, I apologize.
Unbelievable.
I know. It's a bad look by me with two of my favorite coworkers.
Yeah, I bet you didn't even know the people who were on the call for Kent State.
I didn't.
And Miami of Ohio.
I did not know them at all. And so instead I proceeded to watch Kent State just give that game away in regulation. And then it was an entertaining game. I mean, they gave up the first 5 in overtime, and then Kent State battled back to be down by 1. And Miami of Ohio, I'll give them credit for this. Their last couple games have been very high scoring, very entertaining in overtime against Buffalo. They had the game-winning 3 that allowed them to stave off their first loss against Buffalo. And
Look at this.
A coast-to-coast layup with about 6 seconds left to tie it in regulation against Kent State on Tuesday night.
Unbelievable. But to be clear, Miami of Ohio did win.
They won, yeah.
They stayed undefeated on the season. So we're still talking 3, right? 3 undefeateds left. But we did lose an undefeated in the Big Ten last night. Purdue went down, and so Nebraska is at the top and standing alone there. So Arizona, Nebraska, Miami of Ohio.
They are just going to keep hanging in there. Kent State was pretty good, too. They had only won 1 loss in conference play at that point. They're like 12-4. Would have been a big win for them. And instead, they couldn't close them out.
Should we play like a call your shot game and see is Nebraska going to lose? Are they going to lose?
Yeah, they're not going to go undefeated in the regular season.
They're not. Are they going to go undefeated overall and win the national championship?
I think that they will not go undefeated in the regular season.
Okay, all right.
I'm not ready to say they will win or won't win the national championship.
But how far will it go? You've been one of the people who thinks they're going to lose on Saturday to Minnesota.
It's possible.
It's definitely possible.
So I don't know if I'm predicting that though. Like, are we picking the game of the schedule that?
I mean, I think now is as good a time as any. As this has become a story I think in and of itself. Obviously, Nebraska basketball as a whole, and the fact that they're good and all these different things, and they're going to be whatever seed in the NCAA tournament and have a good chance to not only just win one game in the NCAA tournament, but rip off a few. They're also undefeated. I feel like we almost haven't talked about that piece of it enough. And they're going to have a really good shot to be 20-0, 21-0, 22. I don't know. How far does this go?
Do you think they can beat Michigan next week at Michigan?
Yeah, they could beat anyone.
So then it just becomes a question of, do they? The issue is I have a tough time imagining them getting through that stretch of Michigan, Illinois, Rutgers, Purdue undefeated. That Rutgers is not the one I think that they would lose.
So if they let's just play a quick game. If they wake up on I guess the rankings won't come out till the next week, but bracketologies that come out on Wednesday, February 11th.
If they beat both Michigan and Illinois and they're still undefeated by the time the rankings would come out,
they're going to be the number 1 team in the country.
Yes. Unequivocally, yes. There would be, at that point, I don't care about whatever their efficiency metrics would be.
No,
their
it wouldn't
quality
matter.
Of win would be better than everyone by a substantial margin.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. You would have beaten Illinois twice. You would have beaten Michigan on the road, and then on top of all of the other wins,
everything else that you've done. Yeah. So and then the combination of doing that all in 1 week would just sort of the groundswell for it. I want to live in a world where on February 1st at like 2:59 p.m., Pinnacle Bank Arena is just a deafening roar as people are ready for this game against Illinois coming off the win against Michigan.
Okay.
Because that game obviously happening in Ann Arbor, and so it's not going to be the same experience as people, particularly, older people figure out how to find the game when it's going to be on Peacock, and then they have to make the decision whether they want to part with their $6 a month or not for it.
Sure.
The game against Illinois at home, if they were 21-0, would be
sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's amazing.
Scene. Like it was already nuts. Like the Oregon game, just coming off of the week that they had when they beat both Ohio State and Indiana on the road, and like the lines to get in, and just a general
it's a complete madhouse
enthusiasm for it. I have no idea, and I very much want to see what that looks like.
I've seen this more and more. We got to get out of here in just a second, but I've seen this more and more. This is from Silver Cloak on YouTube. The minute they lose, Nebraska will drop 10 spots. Well, if they lose tonight, yeah, probably. If they lose to Michigan on the road, I couldn't disagree more. They're not.
Yeah.
I get it. People have this this thing of oh, they don't believe in us and this and this and that.
I mean,
guys, you're in the club. I can't tell you enough. I spent the majority of the last couple of years, I don't know why I have to be the person to tell you guys every single time that A, your team is good, and B, people like you. But I'm telling you, they do. You don't have to have a conspiracy theory anymore.
Yeah, I think there's certainly still some doubt that exists, but it's not from the upper echelon of the college basketball take makers for the most part.
It is most certainly not.
So, I mean,
everybody's watching now.
How many different graphics were going around yesterday of Nebraska as a 1 seed, which I still don't really think is a possibility. We'll see what it looks like after that week against Michigan and Illinois. If honestly they get through that, then yes, the 1 seed is 100% a possibility. You lose both of those games, I think it's a hard route to being a 1.
Maybe. I mean,
yeah. Look, if they go crush the month of February, then
right.
They're going to be fine. But we'll see. There's still so much season left. That's the incredible part. This is right around the point where the Nebraska fan is used to looking at it okay, how many games do they have to win to get to 11 and 9?
They have to win 8 out of their next
11 and 9 get you guaranteed into the into the tournament?
They're basically already 11 and 9. They're 7 and 9.
No, I know. That's the thing. It's wild.
All right, let's take a break. Our good friend Frank Caliendo is our next guest. He will make jokes. He will say funny things and funny impressions. And Mike Schaefer will ask him to be like Casey Kasem. Next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. 7 o'clock hour. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer with you on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. All right, so Schaefer, you have been aware that we've had Frank Caliendo. He's become a friend of the show over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I've learned this. I've learned this fact.
And so now he joins the morning family. Text me the other day. He said, "You're in the morning now. What is going on?" And he joins us now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Frank Caliendo. Good morning, Frank.
Morning. I was going to go with my normal sarcastic type of, am I more of an acquaintance? But no, I am a friend of the morning program.
A friend of the morning program, an acquaintance of the morning program at the very
No,
least.
a friend, a full-on friend. It's more than an acquaintance. We're pals.
Exactly. So, I mean, we could just start it off with, I think that you should just throw him an impression right away so we could get acquainted. Like, Schaefer has one request.
Yeah, I have a very specific one that I've enjoyed you using over the years, and I'm just hoping that you can give us the answer for what ails Creighton basketball in a song that only Casey Kasem could find.
Dear Creighton fans, I don't even know how to. I'm trying to figure out how to formulate this. You do realize I just woke up as well.
I wasn't prepared for it to be the first question.
Yeah,
but I got
probably,
thrown at me.
honestly, that's on me. Probably could have warmed you up a little bit, but I figure we go right in.
And all lies in a song from 1975. That's all I could do.
That's good. That's good. That's what we needed.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to try. That's for sure. All right, so Frank's in town over the next couple days. Shows on Friday and Saturday at the Funny Bone. By the way, I mean we're filling up here, right? For these shows at the Funny Bone.
Yeah, the Friday shows. I usually only do one Friday because I just. You end up with a later show Friday, and who knows? But it sometimes it's not as fun. But the Saturday shows are like there's maybe 100 tickets left between the two, and Friday's already sold out. So I'll know tonight by Blue Jay tip-off, or a little bit before probably, if we're going to add a show. So if you want to go Saturday, I get the tickets right away. If you want to go Friday, you can't as of right now. But there's a possibility of a second show opening up, and it's not even going to be that late. It's going to be like a 9:15 show. So, somewhere in there. But, I was wondering what Casey Kasem would think. No, I wasn't. I had no.
Well,
frankonstage.com for tickets, or omaha.funnybone.com for tickets, or something like that. But frankonstage.com brings you there. And like I said, Saturday there's some tickets left that might be sold out by the end of the day, and then the current Friday show is sold out. So, so let's go into I'll give you actual analysis, a little John Gruden to spice it up, man. I tell you what, let's open some boxes. Which I think I'm going to repost my Gruden. Opening the Creighton box with John Gruden. I'll probably post that today or something.
In honor of Sean McDermott being fired. Yeah, because you called Greg McDermott Sean McDermott.
I did say Sean McDermott, yeah. And for a second, I confused Sean and Greg again, and I was like, what? I thought he had I thought he even had a postmortem contract. What are they doing, Greg? They're taking off my name off the thing. So, who's they? Me. He's not. If you know Greg McDermott, he's not. He believes he can get everything going, and I think he can. But I think the difficulty is this: Creighton has always been a developmental program. Any of the teams with the great coaches that it takes a while to figure out and understand the offense and defense and the team concept. Now with the portal and how everything changes, you get guys coming, they're the guy at their school. And that's you if you do it right, you will be the guy and during portions of the game on a team like Creighton. And there aren't there aren't a ton of those teams, but it just takes time. It changes. The whole mentality has to change for it to work. And it's not always the player getting himself open, which there are, there have been guys that have done that, throughout. And there's no calc. And without calc, it changes. Yep. That's a difficult thing. The Kalkbrenner, of course. Yeah, I mean, Mac won without calc. He won more with calc, and you start to realize how good Ryan Kalkbrenner is and was, because listen, I mean, it just changes everything when you can't go into the middle and you're scared to shoot a layup, and all of a sudden guys are throwing up air balls at the rim from 4 feet away. People who said Ryan Kalkbrenner was just tall, and then they see him in the NBA and he's a stud there too, especially for a rookie. You're like, holy cow! You don't know what you have.
Maybe that guy was good. Yeah,
yeah. And people would tell, and people would complain about Kalkbrenner. He runs like his bones, like he has no ligaments. So, but who cares? I mean, he's fantastic, and he's a great guy, but they got guys that are coming on. Vita Schwartz, be witches. They're,
nice,
that going.
Nice.
Yeah, you throw in the Spaceball. Spaceball's the movie. Spaceball's the comic book, and Spaceball's the doll. Me, Vita Schwartz, be witches.
I look forward to this in front of the Jays fans tonight on Jays Live.
It's going to be good. That's going to be good. Hey, so Frank, I'm sure this changes over the years, but as people come up to you or at your shows, like what have been the favorite impressions as you've been doing this now for such a long time?
Well, you're right. Do they change? Madden used to be the thing, the only thing anybody cared about. So there was that, and then it was for a while George W. Bush. But and there are some people, movie buffs, Pacino would be a big one. Barkley for a while was really big. I should be doing these all along. That's crazy. That's what I did. He forgot to do me as Al Pacino. I remember when it was me, and then John Madden too. Boom. So, and that's John Gruden. I'll tell you what, man. A little bit of this. People were waiting for me to, open up a United Parcel product. Let's see what else. The Trump and Biden, because I'm not political, but I talk. The thing about today's audience is everything's so segmented, but everybody knows Donald Trump. Everybody knows how great it is and how fantastic things are. And folks, come on. Soon as Joe Biden, go backwards. Yeah. Come on, what are we doing? The guy, the thing. What are we talking about? I don't know, but let's talk about me. So, those are always big, and I just have so much fun with those. The weirder ones, the Jeff Goldblums, yes, the John C. Rileys, that's interesting. For purposes of this phone call, Paul Giamatti is, well, nobody really cares. I'm trying to think, and some of the sports fans love the sports stuff, and I hit that throughout the show on and off. And at the end, the last 10 minutes or so, if I haven't hit like an Adam Schefter or something, people want to see me do that live, I let them call out stuff for the last 10 minutes. And we go, according to my sources, at this particular time, it appears I have not done the Adam Schefter yet. And if I add the helium Schefter is about as good as it gets.
I feel like it's not even.
You know what? One of the staples? Morgan Freeman. Truth of the matter is, I can't believe I forgot that one.
I recently watched Shawshank again, and I enjoyed it. And then I thought of you doing
what a take. What an edge in which you stepped out on. You enjoyed Shawshank.
What would Morgan Freeman think about that take? Morgan, I watched a movie with you in it, and I really liked it. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that's the way it's supposed to be, Sonny. Truth of the matter is, we could end up on Zinwantanejo.
Exactly. That's what I
figured. There you are, sanding your boat. Maybe that's how the Creighton season ends.
I didn't see Wantanejo. Yeah, I think that's right.
Wantanejo.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to all the impressions. Will there be a John Bishop impression?
Well, I've heard about this.
One of your best impressions. We do have it somewhere, but the John Bishop running of all of the other impressions when we were in Vegas. That was pretty good stuff.
Well, just the horse crap gauntlet. That's
the horse crappedness.
Horse crap. Yeah.
Horse crap call.
Horse crap call. Horse crap call. I'll tell you what, man, that's a horse crap call. That's a horse crap call. Boom. Hey, are you horse crapping calling me? Huh? Is that a horse crap call you got me? Huh? Whoa. Horse crap call. That's a horse crap call.
Let me say this. I'm going to say this, and I can say it as eloquently as I will ever say. It's a horse crap call. That's what it is. And we're not going to let you do it.
Folks, come on. Crapping horse. There you go.
Frank, we'll let you go on this because I know you got to get out here. And thank you for doing the horse crap again. It's fantastic. I don't know that any of the audience even knows what we're talking about, but it's fantastic. Do you have any take on Indiana winning a football national championship as a sports fan that you are?
Yeah, well, personally, I think it's great. It's fun. It's fun. I grew up in Wisconsin, but I was never really a huge, Wisconsin fan in terms of football. So I know Big Ten has these rivalries and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just think it's fun. And Signetti coming from James Madison, and he was. You look at some of the freezing cold takes that are out there about Indiana hiring him as coach. It's Feinbaum looks, ridiculous. So many people that saying how terrible it was, and he did exactly what he's done along the way. It's hard to do that in any. Indiana has a lot of money. There's that too.
Definitely.
So there's that. There's some, and it's a huge school with a great fan base overall, mostly basketball until now, but their alumni, it's massive. And that business school is so well known. So, and I live next to Arizona State, which has a huge business school, and they can't get money. So it's pretty amazing, what they've done. And that's the thing is the world it's just a different world now in college sports. A lot of people hate it. I find it pretty interesting because it's balanced a lot out, and some people are trying to figure out how to make it work as coaches and all that stuff. And it's just different. It's just a different game. It's not I sat next to Mac and Jim Boeheim at Summer League what was it, this year or the year before? And just listen to a couple guys talk about how much things have changed. And from the insider perspective of that, it just really is different for how they coach in this world, because their coaching is systematic. And if you're too systematic with your players, they leave now. And that's a difficult thing.
Right. It's crazy. All right, Frank. Well, we'll let you go. We will see you tonight. We look forward to it as always.
All right, rack me. I am out.
Rack him. He's out. That's Frank Caliendo, a.k.a. Jim Rome, a.k.a. Morgan Freeman, or a.k.a. basically everybody that you can think of. What a guy.
I feel bad that we made him do Casey Kasem on the spot like that.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, it was just the first one.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready for it. That was on me.
Right.
We should have just
built into it.
Yeah, weaved in like normal, like we were sort of planning on. Then I was like, you know what? Let's just do this right off the bat and see how he's feeling this morning. I figured he'd been up for a while, considering he texted me at 5 this morning, or maybe he scheduled the text. I don't know.
Maybe he just rests his voice during that entire time. Like he just has long periods of not talking.
Right. Which he's going to need because he's going to be on stage a lot over the next couple of days here in Omaha.
It should be a terrific show.
Friday and Saturday, and then stay tuned. Be on the lookout for some more potential openings. Also, if you're going to the Creighton game tonight, you will get there early. I guess that's what I would tell you. Get there early and be tuned in to the video board and watch Jay's Live, where Frank Caliendo will be he's been kind enough to make an appearance, or at least agree to an appearance. Hopefully he's there in time. Hopefully he doesn't have to fight downtown traffic too much.
Where did his association with Creighton come from?
I think we asked him before plenty, he met Mac somewhere along the line or something like that, and then just really enjoyed.
Yeah.
He also is a giant college basketball fan, so he's like from the Milwaukee area, and so like Marquette and all that stuff, like they get sort of tied together. And I think just like the way that Creighton played. Frankly, we should have asked him about Nebraska basketball, because there's a lot of what Nebraska basketball is doing this year that looks, that looks like some of the things that Creighton has done over the past several years. I mean, just with their connectivity and their style and all those different things. So I bet he's seen him, and I bet he's liked it.
Yeah. Well, you should ask him about Nebraska basketball on Jay's Live.
Should we expect a Connor Happer impression during Jay's Live tonight?
I don't know what he would do. I don't know what would be the impression of
or
me.
sneak some John Bishop in it.
I would imagine the Bishop one would probably.
I'm just gonna let him go. You know what? I'll probably do? I'll just let him host it. So welcome into Jay's Live, and then maybe he tries to act like me for 5 seconds, and then is like, "Hey, got some jokes for you guys, so here you go. Here's 3 minutes."
I honestly just the weaving of the different impressions.
It's so good.
Jay's Live would be tremendous.
It's so good. So we'll see how that looks tonight at CHI Health Center. We love a 6 o'clock tip, folks. We love it, even though it'll be probably like 6:05 or whatever it ends up being. But we love a 6 o'clock.
I'll
tip.
gladly take it for tonight.
Absolutely, Joe. You're back in the saddle here tonight.
Yeah, I'll be back tonight for Jay's basketball.
Joey has signed off 8 o'clock games because nobody needs that.
No, I don't.
I don't need you to stay here until midnight talking about basketball and then waking up at 4 the next morning to get in here.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Not good.
Running around looking for Wendy's.
John writes in on the text line, wouldn't people need to leave now to get to the Creighton game early with the conditions of the streets? So things have improved slightly downtown. They at least you could take 480 to get all the way down into like the part of downtown that you want to get to the arena now, which is nice.
That's usually a weekend thing when they tear down the bridge.
Yes, so that is over. They did that. 480 is all the way back open, which should alleviate some of the congestion. However, there is still plenty of disasters going on downtown. I went to the arena yesterday briefly, and they took out on 10th and Capitol, where this is only a thing for people who park sort of in the back, I guess, but like they took a giant slab of concrete out, so it's only one lane. You can't get out that way, so you have to go south to get north. I mean, it's a total mess down there, and that's just the start of it.
I've been pretty happy that this is as far east as I've gone in a while. Like I haven't had to mess with being downtown anytime recently.
Yeah.
It's been good. I appreciate
going that far east. It's challenging.
I can save all my vitriol for how difficult it is to get to the interstate from where I have chosen to live.
We'll save it for Lincoln too. I mean, it's not like Lincoln is Pinnacle Bank Arena is a dream to get in.
Yeah, no. The thing is, I don't live there now, so I don't have to think about the fact that they started all their construction at one time, making it virtually impossible to drive across the community.
But you go to the basketball games occasionally, and
I figured out the cheat code.
Really?
You park at Haymarket and you deal with the wind as you walk over the pedestrian bridge, and you don't don't have to deal with anything else.
I actually think that's right.
Easy to get off of Cornhusker, drive over to the baseball stadium, pay $5, park, deal with the wind and the walk, and then walk back, and you're good.
I actually think that's correct.
Not having to deal with the awful stupidity of the parking garage parking situation. Lincoln Police just figured out events are held for 20 sometimes a year in that building for basketball, and thousands of people will descend upon it. They just now announced that they will have traffic control down there. So it took to have the highest ranked team and the best start to a season ever for them to determine that they need to have a better traffic flow situation.
So all these years, they were just leaving all of the work to stop signs?
They'd have people after the game and maybe one or two sections down there.
They
now they have an actual plan, it seems. That's what they tweeted. Now, is it concepts of a plan? Is it a real plan? Who knows? It's Lincoln. You can't trust anything as it comes to the traffic or the road.
Why work? Why put people there when stop signs do the same thing? Lincoln has said. I'll tell you why. Because it's bad. It's very, very bad. Sindelar writes in on YouTube. Good morning, Sindelar. I just take the streetcar downtown. Saves me lots of time. Jimmy says was riding the streetcar in New Orleans last week and thought about how much this would not work in Omaha. Yeah.
We should all take it once it's all said and done.
We should do a show from the streetcar.
Yeah,
I
was also
would
thinking
love that.
That would be fun.
We could do it.
You realize we're going to end up with like
Tour
promotional
de
pictures
Omaha.
from on the streetcar.
Yeah,
right?
but we're going to be the only people on there, so it won't.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Be fine. All right, we'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, so we told you several months ago. Well, I guess we didn't.
Yeah, I didn't.
It was on a different show.
I don't have anything to do with that.
I told you several months ago that you got to be listening carefully on when Connor Happer speaks, because it doesn't sound like I know anything, but maybe I do. I told you several months ago. I said, watch out. There could be a Buc-ee's coming to the state or the region or the area. Where might be a good place for that?
Probably Gretna.
The Nebraska crossing.
Probably the Nebraska crossing in that area. Well, here's a story from the Nebraska Examiner this morning. Texas-based Buc-ee's likely headed to Gretna. This is very interesting. Gretna is poised to become home to Nebraska's first Buc-ee's travel center, a prospect city officials expect will kickstart further tourism development in the area's once conflicted Good Life district.
I am willing to commit us to doing a show from Buc-ee's.
Absolutely. I no qualms with that.
Yeah. So whoever needs to know this for whenever this needs to be done, I will happily do a radio show from Buc-ee's.
Now, we've had ideas before. There have been possibilities of things before. I remember when Omaha won a fan vote to get a Giordano's, and it never showed up. It never came. They never came. Now,
that's one of those tweets I like to do every couple of years. Like, hey, where's that Giordano?
Where's the Giordano?
And then it's just like, I know what I'm doing when I do this, and
Yes.
it just elicits immediate like anger response.
Mhm.
And then there'll be someone who will let me know that there was like some article where they just kind of said that the vote wasn't going to.
It wasn't
necessarily-
binding. Yeah.
They just wanted to do market research about who would be interested in such a thing.
Yeah. It's like, you didn't tell us that. You said if you win, you get it.
Yeah. And didn't like Nebraska or Omaha like beat out Des Moines or something?
I don't remember where the other city was, but yeah, they won. And that Giordano's never showed up, did it?
Nope.
Very
Still
good.
have not had it.
Maybe we'll get one in the airport. This is from the Nebraska Examiner. Tom Hines, who owns the annexed land where the Buc-ee's would go, declined to comment, telling the Examiner he was bound by a non-disclosure agreement. But Evans said his team has been working with Buc-ee's on the deal since last summer and that the property is under contract. Once again, not being built yet or anything like that. Just, we have some land. This could be an interesting spot for a gigantic Disney World gas station, and we will do it here when we do it.
Yeah, if I
If we did.
recall, the idea of Omaha having professional hockey is born out of being out in that area.
Correct.
And everything they
And
plan
professional
to do-
volleyball and the
Yeah.
new Memorial Stadium and the airport and Big Lake
Yeah.
and all those things. Yes.
But no, like they literally flew to New York to talk with the NHL and pitched Gretna.
Mhm.
Like that actually happened.
Mhm.
And the ideas that they have for that area are enormous in what they want to accomplish. We'll see if anything actually comes to fruition.
So this is from I'm reading from the story again. As designed, the Good Life Law, originally approved in 2023 and twice refined, created major incentives. State sales tax imposed within the districts are to be cut in half from 5.5% to 2.75%. The idea is to recapture the difference to help finance unique entertainment and shopping districts that over time would draw more tourism to the state. Evans predicts that Buc-ee's would draw travelers and others who would then shop elsewhere in the area. Probably true, right? I mean, it would be the only Buc-ee's within a couple 100-mile radius. I think there's
Right.
one in Kansas City now. John Chamberlain, a project engineer representing Texas-based Buc-ee's, did not identify the retailer at first, but did so on Tuesday night upon questioning from Gretna officials. His answer drew applause and shouts of approval from several audience members. One woman asked if Chamberlain had brought any, quote, merch. Evans said with a
People
chuckle,
like the Buc-ee's merch.
I know they're kind of a hot item right now. Also, another official said when Chamberlain mentioned the store's dimensions, quote, that's a lot of brisket. I love this story. This is fantastic.
It is fantastic.
This is great.
Very, very pro Buc-ee's coming to Nebraska.
We got streetcar. We got new airport. We got Big Lake. We got Buc-ee's.
Do we have Big Lake? Didn't that one kind of DOA
We have
for right
idea
now?
of Big Lake.
Yeah, I think that's backburnered for sure.
Yeah. But
for sure.
Maybe we have idea of Big Lake.
Yeah, sure.
That's all. All right. Let's Joey, are you prepared to release some of your findings here?
I got the sheet right here.
Can I would it make it easier if we request like the first week where all the Big Ten teams would be in action against each other? Because that happens like the fourth week or whatever.
I was under assumption we would just go from week 4 onward because the first 3 weeks are the non-conference slate.
So for those of you who don't know, the Big Ten does not have, they have opponents assigned for next year, but they will release their official schedule, meaning the weeks that these teams will play each other, not the times yet, or if the game is on Friday or Saturday or whatever, but just the weeks in which opponents will play each other in the Big Ten Conference. That will happen next Tuesday. Keep in mind the SEC has done this several weeks ago, and I don't know what the Big Ten was waiting for. Also, if you didn't know, our dear friend, young Joey, he just really likes schedules. I don't really know a better way to put it. He likes creating,
I have an audio clip from John Bishop talking about my passion.
This is your passion.
Some people call it a cry for help.
And so I know you've already begun the work on putting together the NFL grid for 2026.
Yeah, it's already there. Just doesn't start until probably March. I got to do some research.
Yep, you got to start plugging those things in and figure out where everybody's going to be. But we're less than a week away from the Big Ten schedule coming out, and so I'd like to hear how the Big Ten is going to open 2026. What does the slate look like to you that weekend, Joey?
So right now, what I got on the 4th week, this is week 4 because the first 3 weeks are non-conference, but week 4 I got Northwestern at Oregon.
Any thoughts?
Northwestern at Oregon is going to be fascinating. You get the Chip Kelly matchup. You have basically trying to figure out if David Braun can pull the rabbit out again. And, of course, Oregon has Dante Moore coming back.
Okay.
And this was already scheduled, but Purdue's going to host Notre Dame on week 4. That's already said and done.
All right, put that to the side. Purdue doesn't get
not good for Purdue.
Shout out to NBC. They get a nice game that week.
Indiana opens up their conference play at Michigan.
Whoa. Hello.
While Ohio State opens up at Iowa, and I have that as a night game.
Ooh. Could it be the return of Woodshed? Remember when they smoked them in 2017?
Yes.
I believe it was 2017.
I'm getting that confused with Purdue for some reason. Purdue smoking Ohio State.
They were back-to-back years.
Yeah.
Purdue smoked Ohio State and Iowa smoked Ohio State.
Well, and then Woodshed famously you hated because
that was Michigan
State wanted to label their stadium the Woodshed, and it drove you insane.
Really, really weird.
These would be terrific ways to start the conference season for those teams.
Nebraska will open up conference play on the road at Illinois that's my prediction at Illinois.
It's happened several times.
That feels right. It'll probably be a Friday night.
Now I have Northwestern Oregon as a Friday night.
Oh, interesting.
It has that vibe.
Okay.
And then the other games I got Minnesota at Penn State, USC at Rutgers, Michigan State at Wisconsin, and UCLA at Maryland.
Let's go.
We
have a lot of cross.
Mick Cronin has thoughts on UCLA having to start their season out at Maryland.
Oh, I'm sure.
And USC and Rutgers too.
Yeah, I don't know why that just made me laugh.
Will teams share planes as they travel across the country?
What's the center point that you fly into that they can then bus off of?
Yeah, I don't know.
Indianapolis.
No, God, that'd be a long bus ride. Yes, that is somewhere in between College Park and
Piscataway.
I would say Philadelphia.
Probably.
That's the middle point between Piscataway and College Park.
All I know that everything is pretty close to each other on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So they'll be pretty.
They'd be
fine.
fine.
They'll be okay there. Okay, so we look forward to. We'll grab a couple of these over the next several days to look at Big Ten Joey's Big Ten schedule.
And Joey.
Big Ten Joey or
Joey's Big Ten board.
Joey's Big Ten board or Joey schedules, something like that. We'll check in on this over the next couple of days, and then ultimately we'll get to see how accurate he was on Tuesday when the Big Ten releases their schedule. Brett McMurphy did a tweet yesterday, and he said, "Hey, look, I understand that the Big Ten has not done their schedule yet. However, here's one: Indiana hosting Ohio State on October the 17th.
I already have that wrong. I had that game in November.
So you can correct it. You throw that in there. You don't, rough draft is a rough draft.
Yeah.
Like,
How many moves get changed because you have to switch this to now that you know? So that's kind of a fascinating thing.
we're going to get a couple one-off games between now and Tuesday, I think.
Probably.
But you could take the Indiana Ohio State game and build around that. You could have a free one there.
What's Nebraska's
that'll be-
road Friday game?
Oh,
Let's get a one-off from you right now.
according to Joey's schedule, Mr. Joey.
Yeah,
Mr.
according to
Okay,
the
here-
Colbert
Here-
report.
here's
That's what it needs to be.
Pretty good, yeah.
So this will be coming off of a bye week, and they will go to Rutgers on week 7.
That makes perfect
Yep,
sense.
that
actually,
that
Yeah.
seems like it's a real possibility. Can we just not call it the Colbert report?
I think we should call it the Colbert report if Joey's okay with it.
I think I got some better ideas I could think of.
Roasted. All right, so we'll check in with Joey's schedules over the next several days. We'll take a break. We have to check in with Joey's schedules again. He will ask Schaefer if he would like to click on some links.
Oh, are there animals involved?
Are
Well,
there?
one of them has a little involvement on a crime.
Okay, crime. Any
Animals doing crimes?
Any animals doing
no,
crime?
No.
Okay. All right.
It's not animal doing any crime.
Okay,
It's-
that's
it's,
good.
It's human involved.
All
Crime.
right. We'll be back. A reminder that we have a few online contests going on at 1620thezone.com right now, including Journey, which is Thursday, April 9th at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and Chris Stapleton with the All-America Roadshow Tour featuring Nikki Lane October 7th at Pinnacle Bank Arena. You can get signed up to have a chance to win tickets on our website right now, 1620thezone.com. Thank you, as always, for the memes and for the comments. Back on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Our dear friend Joel, who
Hey, that's from my college days.
Joey just saw a picture of himself as the Colbert Report retweet instantaneously. Thank you, Joel, for sending that in at Hap and Schaefer. Joel sent me his meme log from the Connor Happer show, and so now I have those just sitting there, which are, some of them are applicable to things that we might be talking about in the future. Most of them are not. So I'm just glad I have it. So appreciate that, Joel. All right, we have headlines from the Colbert Report himself to Mike Schaefer.
Okay, the first one is Albany defendant on the run after affixing ankle monitor to dog. And then the second one.
Hold on, repeat that.
Albany defendant on the run after affixing ankle monitor to dog.
Interesting. I'm interested in that one, for the record.
And I think you will be interested in that one because the other one I could find is 12 tech workers keep 25 balloons in the air for 1 minute.
I mean, that's the first one.
Keep balloons in the air for a minute.
But I have to admit that
why?
there's at least a passing interest in learning more about the second one, why they were doing it.
That's a really interesting way to do clickbait, right? Like, what's so impressive about keeping a balloon in the air for 1 minute? Maybe I should click on this. Huh.
But we'll go with the first one.
Okay. So this first one in Albany, New York, and the headline is Albany defendant on the run after affixing ankle monitor to dog. So anyway, authorities are searching for a man who skipped a court appearance earlier this week and disappeared after leaving his court-ordered GPS ankle monitored attached to a dog, the Albany County District Attorney's Office said on Friday. Lamont Holmes had been due in front of Albany County Court Judge William T. Little on Tuesday for a hearing ahead of his January 27th sentencing on weapons charges.
Decided he didn't want to go, had an ankle monitor, slapped it on his dog.
So when Holmes, who lives in Albany, did not appear, the Albany County Probation Department notified Little that Holmes had cut off his ankle monitor and affixed it to a dog in Rensselaer County, the district attorney's office said. So WNYT News Channel 13 first reported on the K9 assisted failure to appear. The TV station said a woman found a dog running free Tuesday morning in the town of Nassau
with an ankle monitor on.
A veterinarian noticed the ankle monitor attached to the dog's collar and called the police, the TV station reported. The district attorney's office said Little issued a bench warrant for Holmes, who had pleaded guilty to criminal possession of a weapon in February 2025. It is not clear if Holmes owns the dog or if he will face new charges.
Oh, interesting. That's a potential twist. He just put it on any dog.
Yeah.
He just put it on a dog.
So Holmes
recruited a dog to put the ankle monitor.
Yeah, he just saw a dog. And
I
said,
assume they have found this guy, right?
They got him on the warrant, right?
Yeah, they got him on the warrant. So Holmes' public defender did not immediately respond to a request for the comment.
Probably for the best.
He faces up to 15 years in prison when he is eventually sentenced.
I wonder how much more that is than just the regular old weapons charge. Like, how much more do you get tacked on for slapping the ankle monitor on the dog?
You could definitely get an animal cruelty charge added on there. And
Probably,
then if it's not your dog, then that becomes a whole other thing too.
What if your dog went out for, sometimes it happens where dogs get out of the yard and they're gone for several hours
and it comes back with an ankle monitor?
What would happen if that happened?
So I guess the thing that I don't understand is aren't the ankle monitors being monitored? So as soon as he's messing with it, it's triggered to a response.
Right. And that's where they issued the bench warrant, obviously, I think. Yeah.
I would think that they would have been able to corral him before he really even would have had the chance to affix it.
Yeah, when you take it
how
off,
did he affix it? Did he tape it to the dog?
Are we talking?
They put it on the collar.
Yeah, but was it glue? Because he has to cut it
physically.
get the
Yeah,
ankle
it-
monitor
it-
off, you can't just like.
It's not a Velcro. Are ankle monitors Velcro?
I don't
What
think
are
so.
They
what?
shouldn't be.
How do ankle monitors work?
I just assume it's like zip tie.
It's like a belt. Like you can't just reach down
someone
and take it off, or do you have
someone
to
with
cut it?
ankle monitor experience or with maybe this is their profession. Teach us something today. We want to
Yes.
know more about ankle monitors.
If you were, this is our direct question. If you were to cut off an ankle monitor, would you have to cut it off, or can you just remove it?
I don't think you can just remove
The
it.
temptation to remove it would be too strong. I would want to do that all the time if I was wearing an ankle monitor.
Well, and then I'm guessing there's like certain do's and don'ts when you have an ankle monitor. Like you shouldn't do certain things. I don't know, but I would like to know more.
Unnamed YouTube commenter says you have to cut it. It's like it's a leather strap. This person says. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. So it does raise the question: how in the world did he do it? Did he glue it? Did he tape it? What happened here? Did he come up with some sort of far-fetched magnet system that would strap it to the dog? Like my watch.
Just got a couple magnets sitting around.
Like my watch, it's not a strap. It's just a magnet, basically.
Oh, that's
It
nice.
just kind of goes like that. So maybe he came up with that situation for his ankle
I
monitor.
should consider that. I'm stuck over here with just strap light.
It's nice. It's nice. That's for sure. All right. Thank you, Joey, for the headlines. They are appreciated as always. That is another edition of the Colbert Report, which I really kind of like. Last night, a new emerging NFL rivalry has begun. It's between a man and another man.
And I don't know what side to root for here.
We'll have that and more coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
All right, the world is waking up. Omaha is waking up, and Omaha is finding out that it is getting a Buc-ee's in the near future. And this is an important moment for our state and for our town and for our metropolitan area. Now, the question is, for me, and one of the many questions, which city gets claim to the Buc-ee's? Because is it Buc-ee's Gretna? If there was an NHL team here, what would it be called? Would it be called the Gretna Falcons?
It would probably just go with Nebraska.
The Nebraska team, the Nebraska hockey team. So where would you say that there is a Buc-ee's if you are, if people are wondering in which town is the Buc-ee's?
The Nebraska Crossing Buc-ee's. Boom. Done.
I don't think so.
I think it'd be Gretna.
I think it'd be Omaha. Omaha.
They just call it the greater Metro Buc-ee's.
I don't see why not. It's Omaha's Buc-ee's.
Is it Omaha's Buc-ee's?
It is the Buc-ee's nearest to Omaha.
That's different than being Omaha's Buc-ee's.
It is Omaha's.
Just call it the Sarpy County Buc-ee's.
I don't like that either.
I mean,
I want the Buc-ee's.
Look, I get it. But I'm also not even a resident of Omaha, so I'd say that I'm from Omaha, but I don't live in Omaha. You're about to experience that as well.
So you don't have any you don't have any opinion on what they wish that who has ownership of the Buc-ee's?
I think it'd be Gretna's Buc-ee's because it's in Gretna, or technically in Gretna.
Yeah, but Gretna can't have a Buc-ee's.
Well, they're going to.
Obviously it's going to be located in Gretna. That's not what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. But I just think from the definition of where it's at, it's Gretna's Buc-ee.
When you're telling people, like, if you're out on the road and you meet somebody in a different place, maybe a big East Coast city or something like that, and you're trying to explain to them that Nebraska has there's people there. There's people that live in Nebraska, and we have this and we have that. And one of the things that you might say is, Omaha has a Buc-ee's. Omaha is as big of a town. If you go to Raleigh, North Carolina, they'll say, what do? You drive around on covered wagons? Do you have electricity there? And you'll say, no, my town is bigger and better than your town. Omaha. Omaha's Buc-ee's and Omaha's population.
Trying to think of how many times in a conversation it would come up with someone that's not from here that there's a gas station that's really big.
It's just one of the things that you could use.
Yeah, I mean, okay, no.
Just one of the things that you could use.
We
have a streetcar, we have a Buc-ee's.
Trying to think of it from a non-Omaha point of view. If people left Lincoln and they were going to the outlets, they would never say they're going to Omaha. Like, hey, I'm running over to Gretna.
Oh, good. Oh, you don't think so?
They say, like, people say Nebraska Crossing.
They do?
Yeah.
I would say
outlets.
Yeah.
Because
I'm going to the outlets.
I don't really particularly
I'm going
care
all the
for
way
the
out to
branding
the
of Nebraska
outlets.
Crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, remember when it was going to be called Big Ten Crossing? That did not happen.
Could have.
It didn't happen. That's all we know about the situation. Anyway, so
you feel adamantly it needs to be Omaha's Buc-ee.
Well, I think it is.
You're claiming it for Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Much like someone would claim a desk, even if it's not technically theirs to claim.
You got it. Yeah, well, you got it. It's empty.
There's a lot of claiming that happens at this radio station.
There is. You better get in on the game.
Apparently.
You better start.
I was going through the proper jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm. You better start claiming stuff. Otherwise, it's going to get claimed, and then you're going to be claimless.
I don't want to be claimed.
No, you don't. So I'm curious to see which way you go on this one. The spat on social media last night featuring Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield jumps in with a tweet.
He is the Baker Mayfield index of the former Happer and Schaefer show.
He responded to a tweet from a reporter in the Atlanta area who is covering the Kevin Stefanski, to the Falcons. Kevin Stefanski is going to be the head coach of the Falcons. Kevin Stefanski recently fired as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. See, this was Orlando Ledbetter tweeted this out. Falcons Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders closed out last season with 7 starts. And so he's trying to make the case, hey, if they have some stability at quarterback, maybe Kevin Stefanski could be a good coach for the Atlanta Falcons. At which point Baker Mayfield got involved. Baker Mayfield said this, failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text/call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach.
I like the use of pal.
Yeah,
I like
really
the use that
strong. Really
he's
strong.
Quoting a newspaper man for this. It's not even like Stefanski called him a failure.
Yeah, right. He's looking.
It's basically Baker Mayfield looking to kind of instigate this as a thing.
He loves to find ways.
Which I like.
He loves to find ways to be aggrieved. And he gets aggrieved a lot, and it works for him.
If he plays aggrieved, generally the Bucs are probably better for it.
Yeah.
He should be aggrieved that they didn't make Liam Cohen their coach and instead have Todd Bowles as their head coach.
He should be aggrieved at how injured they were this year and then how bad
I think he's
they
been
were.
aggrieved about that. I think he was aggrieved about his own injury that he suffered, that he played through. He was playing at 60%, and you could tell.
I think he's pretty much always aggrieved at this point.
But that all said, very excited about Bucs Falcons anyways, which has been weirdly very, very watchable.
Yeah.
As someone who knows that we're getting that usually on a Thursday night, at least every year. That's one of the Thursday night games, it seems like. And they've been
almost
good games.
Certainly. Yes.
And it's helped that my guy Kirk Cousins has been involved, making me want to watch it even more.
You do love
I'm fascinated
Kirk
to know
Cousins.
what Kevin Stefanski worked with Kirk Cousins as the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested if he wants Cousins to stick around as the insurance policy for Penix and his knees.
This is difficult because both of us, I think, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Schaefer, but I believe both of us are both Baker Mayfield fans and Kevin Stefanski fans.
My journey with Baker Mayfield went from I found him annoying, didn't understand why he'd be the first overall pick, sort of like Schadenfreude I should say, enjoyed his lack of success in Cleveland. We did the whole thing on our previous radio show about how many quarterbacks would you take over Baker Mayfield, which was like a weekly segment.
That was a different time.
Yeah.
He
and
stunk then.
I watched him go to Tampa and immediately became a fan of his. Not so much the Carolina or the LA version.
Well, the 1 week in LA was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he told you there was a lot of talent there. And then it was week 1 when Tampa played Minnesota in 23. And it's like, oh, this is a different guy.
Yep.
And this, you give him Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Well,
and
remember,
suddenly,
everyone thought Tampa was just going to tank out because they had lost Brady. And it was like, all right, end of an era. They're changing over.
Beat out
and
for
they,
that job?
And they got Baker Mayfield, who was a washed up quarterback at that point. And he played great, and they've been consistently good for the last couple of years. Who did he?
There was real conversations about him versus Jeff Driscoll.
Nice.
In that
sort
of period of time.
They had all the look of tank to them.
Right, because it's a post Tom Brady, and that was that. But just I've come all the way around. So I love Baker. I mean, at the start of the year, the Bucs were the most watchable football team for me. Every game came down to the last 25 seconds. Baker making plays. And then you throw in the fact that I feel like I have to be in Kevin Stefanski's corner now because our colleague Matt McMaster hates him. Might even be giving out awards called the Stefanskis going forward.
He was mad because you suggested that a fired coach could possibly be better than one who has a job, basically. I mean, that was kind of the logic.
I think I said that there's an argument that I could see for Kevin Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year over Mike McDonald, who probably will win coach of the year.
Oh yeah, he's been great this year.
He
lost it. He was like, this guy he's the number 1 seed. He's got the best defense in football. Like, how could you possibly say that? This guy just got fired by the Browns.
It's one of those, and I'm sure I've done this to people too, where you're unprepared for how quickly the other person is ready to go into a full debate on something.
Like, whoa,
that you have like a lukewarm opinion on. Like I am not
right. That was just like, I like Stefanski, basically.
Like I think Cleveland, I think he's better off not being in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Which is said of basically every football player or coach since the beginning of time.
So on
since
the
Otto Graham, at least.
on the NFL coach list, here's where we're at right now. Sean McDermott fired. What was that? Yesterday or Monday? Obviously, the Bills don't have his replacement yet. Kevin Stefanski out in Cleveland. Jonathan Gannon out in Arizona. Mike McD, sadly, out in Miami. He has been replaced by Jeff Hafley, interestingly enough.
And he got his job.
And Mike McD got a job yesterday.
That is a weird pairing.
He is going to be the offensive coordinator for
Jim Harbaugh.
Fascinating.
Can you think of a
Chargers
stranger two individuals? Like, what do they even talk about?
I'm not sure.
How do they even talk to each other?
I don't like they have, a lot of the times I think McDaniel's offense probably gets a little bit of it's just misconstrued because of how gadgety sort of it was. But they run the ball. They know how to run the ball and they creatively run the ball. So maybe it's a good mix. I don't know. But they're a couple weirdos, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, and I think for Justin Herbert, it should be, exciting if you're Lad McConkey or Quentin Johnson. I mean, that's like
if you're Quentin Johnson, you should learn how to catch the ball.
Well,
yes.
Start there.
Yes.
And then once you've kind of mastered that, you're going to be a pretty good fit in what he does.
I think so.
But it's just
you got to catch the ball.
The Harbaugh Mike McDaniel thing is so odd.
It's very funny.
It very likely will be successful, but it's just odd.
I would think so. Harbaugh's good enough where I just kind of trust him. Whatever happens there. Atlanta has hired Stefanski. They fired Raheem Morris. The New York Football Giants have hired John Harbaugh, of course, after firing Brian Daboll. Vegas is without a coach. Baltimore is without a coach. Pittsburgh is without a coach. The Tennessee Titans got their coach over the last couple of days. Robert Saleh will take over for Billy C's son, Brian Kelly.
Feels like an odd one to me.
I don't know. That it felt like he was going to get a job, and it's sort of an inconsequential job. But so, I'm fine with it.
Good defensive coordinator. What did anybody see at his time with the Jets that make you think like he's
okay? So there is a little bit of, and this could work out in Salah's advantage, and it's worked out in teams' advantages before. When you are involved with the Jets, and then you're not involved with the Jets,
it tends to go well.
There is this automatic assumption of, oh, you weren't the best version of yourself when you were with the New York Jets, and so maybe we could make something out of this. I believe that I believe that. I believe in taking the right job, obviously, as well. I don't know if Tennessee is that, but the Jets certainly is not.
Yeah, well, and some of it is, I would just think you'd want to pair a young quarterback like Cam Ward with more of an offensive-oriented coach.
Maybe.
Because it's not like Robert Saleh's track record shows that, Zach Wilson, everything else shows that putting him with a quarterback that probably needs more help from his coaching staff, just there hasn't been a great history.
Maybe they go get a fun offensive coordinator or something like that.
Well, the fun one just went to L.A., I guess.
That was probably the only fun offensive coordinator.
I mean, there's other ones that we don't know yet that are fun, and maybe they discover them.
Yes. So. There's also many employed fun offensive coordinators, and I don't think anybody is leaving to be the offensive coordinator of the Titans. But maybe. I don't know. Maybe Cam Ward is that enticing. Sam Mchuan is going to join us here in just a few minutes. We'll talk about the Mike Eckler situation. We'll still have a few minutes to talk about that on this show as well. But while we're on sports that aren't college football, I can't wait to have baseball conversations with you on this show.
Baseball.
And one of the days of the year of baseball happened yesterday, where the Hall of Fame vote got announced. We're going to have 2 new Hall of Famers next summer, or this coming summer. Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones, who, I think they're probably both deserving players in their own right. Although, Jones probably gets there
because he was so well liked, in part because he was so well liked
Well,
by
and
everybody.
defense.
Nobody
more
had
than-
anything bad to say about him.
Yeah, more than anything else. But it's like, I don't know that I would think of his career as being a Hall of Fame caliber player. There's better center fielders that didn't even get enough votes to stay on the ballot,
Yeah.
let alone that guy being in the Hall of Fame.
I do appreciate the consistency. He did what he did
Yeah, no,
very well for a long time.
It's not that he isn't good. It's that it's odd to me that this is the guy where it's like, oh, he was such a great defender. He should be a Hall of Famer, even though the rest of it is only so-so. And his career was basically over by the time he was 29.
Right.
That's the thing that's odd. But at the same time, like when he was good, he was really, really good. I don't get it. Like I don't look at him and think, oh yeah, that guy's unequivocally a Hall of Famer. And then there's other outfielders.
I'm with you.
aren't.
I mean, the bona fides are sort of interesting. I mean, like there's a lot of people who could say this who, like you said, are not even close to the Hall of Fame. 5-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove. 10-time Gold Glove is a lot, obviously. 1 Silver Slugger, and no, like a couple second place vote a second place finish in the MVP. Obviously was an excellent defender every year and a pretty good offensive player as well. Like you said, not anything that you would be like, oh, that has to be a Hall of Famer. That guy definitely has to be in. But the guy that is controversial, I think in a variety of different ways, is Carlos Beltran. Well, I guess really just one way. Carlos Beltran. So he probably gets in earlier and probably is a major league manager at the moment if he had not been involved with the 2017 Astros banging trash cans.
It's not even that he was
involved.
involved. It's that he was painted and talked about as the architect of the biggest cheating scandal in the sport involving technology ever. Full stop. It resulted in a manager being fired, a GM being fired, the largest fine that baseball's ever given out, immunity given to all of the players involved because they wanted as much information as they could, and they wanted to sweep it under the rug without giving punishment to the players for something that they felt like they didn't have enough. They had the information. They didn't feel like they had enough guidelines as to what would happen if you did this.
Sure.
And so because of that,
there wasn't much precedent.
They didn't want an uneven amount. However, they had sent out to the owners and to management in baseball, if you are involved, actions will be swift. Well before the Astros had even been caught. So once Mike Fiers releases a lid on this to the Athletic and with other sourcing as well, Mike Fiers just being the first player that went on record.
He was the one,
that this happened. Everyone immediately points the finger at Carlos Beltran. And then also, he had been doing things like this with other organizations for years. And it's like, all right, fine. If you want him to be in the Hall of Fame on merit of his statistics, I have no argument against it.
Nope.
He's an incredible player. I don't mean to take any of that away. You didn't allow him to become the manager of the Mets because of this. He's likely maybe not going to be a manager because of this.
I don't think so. It doesn't look like it at this point.
Because I think baseball has more or less told owners like, hey, do this at your own peril, but we're going to take a very dim view of it.
Right.
But the writers who love to stand on their soapbox and tell you that great players like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and in this ballot, Alex Rodriguez, and in his last year, Manny Ramirez, absolutely unequivocally Hall of Famers all the way across the board. They don't get to be in because of steroids, but someone who's directly linked, directly involved, and fingered by everybody as involved here sails through without issue. Like, I don't get it. If you're going to put them in, put them all in. And I'd rather they all be in.
They do this. Baseball does this thing where
it's like the selective nature that drives me nuts.
There's that, but as far as like the Hall of Fame is concerned, they do this thing that I don't really get, which is if there's something in your past or if there's something that the voters or the general public doesn't like about you, they'll do this thing where you will get in, but you'll have to wait.
Yeah.
You'll have, and that's, you know, I think that's probably a little bit of what happened here with Beltran. Is his 4th year on the ballot. And, you know,
and he's also, I mean, he's like a 70 WAR player, which is 8 higher than Andrew Jones. But there's guys like Kenny Lofton that's higher than Andrew Jones, and right at Carlos Beltran, he was off the ballot in 1 year.
Right.
So it never really makes any sense as to what it is that people are looking for.
And then there's guys, I think, like Jones, who you mentioned there, who, you know, they will, at the end, if it appears as if they're maybe not going to get in on the 9th
there's
or 10th
a groundswell.
they'll be like,
yeah.
all right, here you go. You're going in. And sure enough, Andrew Jones makes it on his 9th year.
A lot of it is because
ballot.
People who vote for this are like weirdly sanctimonious about, well, you get up to 10 votes. I'm not voting for 10. I'm only going to vote for 3 every year.
And so that's what makes the inconsistency so weird. I'm with you. Like, and for the record, I've stated this before. I don't know that we've ever had this conversation before. I want the steroid guys to be in.
Agreed.
I want the steroid guys to be in the Hall of Fame because I believe the Hall of Fame is a snapshot of time. And you can't tell the story of baseball without guys like
Clemens and Bonds and Rodriguez
and Mark McGuire,
Manny
and,
Ramirez and all of it.
You can't tell the story of baseball without those guys. And I will say this, because those guys aren't getting in and they're not getting enough votes, we are diluting it more. And sure enough, like the next guy who's probably going to get in, who's not a first balloter, who's going to go on his 4th ballot next year, like Chase Utley is going to get into the Hall of Fame next year. This is nothing against Chase Utley. I'm sure. I mean, he had a great career, obviously, but that guy shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, especially if Alex Rodriguez isn't.
No, I agree.
Like Andy Pettit, should he be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, Andy Pettit was caught with steroids. It's weird to me that he gets the votes that he does, but then it's like Manny Ramirez doesn't.
Yep.
Manny Ramirez unequivocally a better player than Andy Pettit. It's not close.
And Manny
But
Ramirez,
take your Yankee mythology out of it, and you just look at them for what they did. Manny Ramirez, a much more important player for baseball than Andy Pettit, but one of them got 38% and the other got into the 50s, and they both were caught with steroids.
Yep. Pettit 48.5 and Manny Ramirez 38.8. And by the way, he's gone. He's off the ballot.
It's just insane.
Is Man Ram.
He might be one of the best right-handed hitters of that entire era. I mean, like, and obviously he played for Cleveland, so I have some level of bias with that. But his like absolute mammoth seasons came in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
He was the MVP. He was, I mean, he's better than David Ortiz. He just doesn't have the mystique of David Ortiz.
Yeah, it's weird that he doesn't though, because I would have thought that he did. Like,
I think it's because he's such a
at the
space
time of
cadet.
his career. Yeah, I mean,
And you know, he's super weird, and he's weird for the sake of being weird.
Yep.
But he also, at the age of 50, would probably be Cleveland's best outfielder today, at least from a hitting perspective.
Probably. The other thing that I like to look at with these when the Hall of Fame voting comes out is, you know, who was on the ballot for the first time and who will drop off. So here are the names. No votes, but on the ballot. I think a career achievement on the Hall of Fame
being
ballot
on the ballot should count for something.
for the following people: Howie Kendrick,
Okay, Howie,
Daniel Murphy,
all right, second baseman run here.
Gio Gonzalez.
Okay,
Those guys fell off with nary a vote. 1 vote each for Nick Markakis
okay.
and Alex Gordon.
One of those makes more sense to me than the other.
Nick Markakis, I don't know how he's on a ballot.
Does he even have like 20 WAR?
I'm not sure. Like he was a decent player for a long time, I think.
30? Okay. It's better than I realized. Nick Markakis.
So how did this happen? Here's some players who got 2 votes. Matt Kemp, sure. Hunter Pence, whatever. How did Rick Porcello get 2 votes?
Cy Young, I guess.
How did
one Cy Young and the worst Cy Young winner that I could imagine.
How did Rick Porcello get 1 more vote than Alex Gordon?
No idea.
That doesn't make any sense.
Not
to
a
me.
clue. One of those was the best defensive outfielder in baseball for at least a 5-year stretch. The other one won Cy Young without even being the best pitcher.
He was like the 4th guy in the rotation. Super odd.
He got lit up in that postseason. That's what I care about.
3 votes for Shin-Soo Choo.
Okay, that makes sense.
6 votes for Edwin Encarnacion and his
Makes
parrot.
sense.
And 15, but not enough, votes for Ryan Braun. There are some steroids in there as well.
Those last ones I think are all guys where it's like, okay, yeah, I can accept that they would be hanging around a bit on the ballot, but they're all off.
They're all.
Who are the first timers for next year? Do we know?
I
Are
am
you looking
at it right now. 2027 first year. Well, let me see if I can pull it real quick. A preview of the next 5 potential ballots. Okay, thank you, MLB.com. Top first time candidates next year: Buster Posey, John Lesta.
I would put Posey in the Hall of Fame.
I probably would on the first ballot as well. Jay Bruce, Brett Gardner, Kyle Seager, Ryan Zimmerman, Jordan Zimmerman. Why would anybody vote for him? Also, final year on the ballot next year for Omar Vizquel.
Yeah, one of my favorites from that era of Cleveland baseball. I think the best defensive shortstop I've ever seen.
Probably.
But there's some domestic violence history in there, and he's not a good enough hitter.
Buster Posey, John Lester, Brett Gardner, Ryan Zimmerman. This is in order of war. Kyle Seager, Irvin Santana as Drupal Cabrera, Todd Frazier, Josh Reddick, Jake Arrieta, Scott Kazmir.
A lot of no's in here.
No, we're not getting. Although I do like naming these people.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is a lot of fun.
Great.
How about former Husker Tony Watson?
Yeah.
Is he going to vote?
My favorite Husker of all time.
Probably not. Wade Davis, Joaquim Soria, some former Royals relievers on there. All right.
He should be in the Hall of Fame for nicknames.
Oh, and look at this. Trevor Bauer. Does he appear on the ballot next year? Now, what do you do with that?
I just think he needs to be in for 2 things. There needs to be a little bit of a Trevor Bauer corner where we can have the drone that he cut himself on so he couldn't really pitch in the World Series. And then can we have just a montage of him taking that baseball from Francona and throwing it over the wall in Kauffman?
Into the fountains in
and
Kansas
basically
City.
Just ensuring that Cleveland was trading him for a poo-poo platter of nothing.
Great time. Great.
Not
great
for
time.
me.
No.
Not great.
I enjoyed watching him implode personally.
He had a 2-year stretch where he was amazing, and that was it.
All right, we'll take a break, and we'll have a chat with Sam Mchuan from the Omaha World Herald coming up next on 1620 The Zone. But first, a word from our friends at Underdog Fantasy, where the football playoffs are here. Underdog is the best place to get in on all the gridiron action. You can make picks and win money right now in Nebraska. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get those right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. So anything you want to check out on the board this weekend, higher or lower, it's that simple. Pair them together, and you have a chance to multiply that payout. What are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code HAPPER1620 to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Promo code HAPPER1620, Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Consider with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer with you here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Don't forget to stay tuned. We'll have some tickets available for you today and tomorrow to the Omaha Supernovas game tomorrow at the CHI. It's a busy week at the CHI Health Center. By the way, a lot of different stuff going on. They play Columbus tomorrow, so stay tuned. We'll have your chance to win those today and tomorrow on the show. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Sam Mchuan from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm all right. How are you guys?
Good. We've had a chance to digest the Indiana National Championship now, and you know, as we all like to think about the angles that make it make sense for Nebraska or something like that. What in the aftermath of Indiana and all that there is to it, what is the prevailing thought from you and how they did it and what it means for the sport?
I think they had an elite and excellent managerial competence to their operation. I think they brought a lot of guys from JMU that not only knew the system but also had coached with Curt Signetti, and I think his solidness and sort of common sense, his novelty, perhaps in collegiate sports at this moment. You're hearing people tee him up as something that, quite frankly, I don't think he is. I think he's very good at his job. I think he's an outstanding manager. I think he's very competent. I don't think he's a unicorn. I think he's operating on tried and true things that have probably been accurate for a long time and may seem novel in this moment because so many programs and coaches have gone in the opposite direction. And so I think Indiana's success is not only a commentary about Curt Signetti, it's a commentary on others. I would compare it to a much smaller degree to Northwestern's success in the Big Ten West for all those years. Like, Northwestern wasn't doing anything special. Other teams were screwing up, and including Nebraska. And so part of Indiana's success, I think, is continuity, getting old.
Yep.
I mean, the idea that you value production over potential, that's not novel. That's a pretty standard common sense idea, but it speaks to how far away sports has maybe gotten from what makes sense. Just like Moneyball was actually common sense, but it was novel at the time because people in baseball had forgotten what actually mattered versus what they thought mattered. So, like, all those things, when you put all those things together, I think that results in what Indiana's done.
What does this tell you about the Big Ten? You have 3 different champions, national champions across the last 3 seasons. What are your just general thoughts on this conference as a whole, as it sits now with Indiana as a potential, power broker, I guess, in the sport now, having just won a national title?
Yeah. And I mean, Oregon, if they do the right things and they get some breaks that fall their way, they could be a 4th national champion next year. There's nothing to say that Oregon couldn't do that. So you could have a 4th different national champion in 2026. So I obviously the league is very big and encompasses a lot of teams at this point, and it's strong. And obviously the wild card was Signetti. Like, nobody thought that Indiana was going to do this. And so the thought process was, well, it's going to be Ohio State, and it's going to be Michigan, it's going to be Penn State, and it's going to be Oregon. And Indiana has injected itself into that conversation in a challenging way because nobody really knows exactly what to do with them. And Indiana, I believe, to its credit, is not going to waver from its approach of, like, we're not going to play anybody good in the non-conference because it doesn't benefit us. And they're right. It doesn't. So, there's not necessarily going to be some big change on that landscape. And the national narrative a lot is, like, what happens in those 3 games in September and who do you play? And Michigan lost Oklahoma, and, Ohio State beat Texas, but, this team over here lost to this team. And so it's not that big of a deal, and all those things that come up. So I think the Big Ten's in a great spot in terms of its competitive depth and its competitive strength at the top. Obviously, its TV deals make it challenging for the league to have a media identity because Fox, CBS, and NBC are all way different. And, they each get a piece of this. And frankly, it's not very cohesive, whereas the SEC is all on one network and it's very cohesive. And so I'd say the SEC has a better media product, but I think the on-field product is better in the Big Ten. And that may change once the SEC starts playing each other in more games. So I think part of what's happened to the SEC is they've been eroded by the fact that they're not playing as many good games. And now that they're going to have to play each other a little bit more, I think that'll actually sharpen the league and actually make it better. It'll make it more, what do you want to call it, prepared for the college football playoff. SEC hasn't been very good in the CFP in recent years. And so, they've got to grow there. And I think some of the way they're going to grow is they're going to play each other more. And I think it's going to make, you might have a team with 2 losses, but that's going to be a darn good football team. And I think it'll help the SEC going forward.
Wouldn't that, in theory, also just expose that they have a lot of paper tigers in their conference? I mean, they have teams that basically prop up their win total out of conference and then go 3-5 or whatever it is in conference. I mean, I think the extra game is going to do more harm to their overall view of how good they are. It might make them better in the long term, but in the short term, it's going to cost them their playoff spots, which is why they fought it so hard, because they'll have extra losses. I mean, by just having the virtue of the extra games.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to watch and see if there is whatever you want to call it, a like sharp split, and you have some teams that just become sort of permanent have-nots or consistent have-nots, which is what you saw in the Big Ten with the East and the West. And it's entirely possible. Or it could be that everybody just sort of regresses to the mean and everybody comes back to the middle. Or it could be a blend of both. But my sense is it's probably going to bifurcate. And so you're going to see some teams that just get good and stay good, and then you're going to see other teams that really struggle to get their head above water. I think the teams that I think about that are sort of in flux are Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, South Carolina. I think those are probably some of the teams that you look at that are teams that you're gonna be watching which way they go. And then if you're looking for a team in that category where like this team should be way better than they are, but they can't get out of their own way, I think Florida is that program right now, where you're like Florida doesn't exactly know what it's doing. Right? They've had a number of coaches now that have succeeded Urban Meyer. And I was trying to go back and think about how many of them there are. And there's a ton. I can't even remember. Urban Meyer's successor was Will Muschamp.
And then you had the guy, Jim McElwain.
Dan Mullen.
Yep.
This most recent guy, and now another guy. I don't think they really know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're five deep post Urban Meyer.
Yeah. And they're just sort of treading water. And I know they've had a couple of good teams along the way, but that's a program that feels a little bit like Nebraska. Like they're not going, they're going to struggle in this new era of playing more games, and they already have, because they're the dumb program that thought it'd be a good idea to play Miami and Florida State in the same year, which they did, and then they played South Florida too. Their schedule's nuts. So Florida already knows what it's like, and they haven't been very good in that setting, and so I think that's a program that could go the wrong way, but we'll see. There's going to be some programs in that league that rise to the top, and I do think Lane Kiffin and LSU is going to be right at the top. Georgia, LSU, maybe Texas. Those 3 are probably the ones that I'm saying are going to rise very quickly to the top.
Sam, why did, now that we can wrap up this whole Mike Eckler situation, at least a little bit, we don't have an official word from USC yet, but it does appear to be happening, at least according to some reporting yesterday, and we thought that a few days ago. What? Just to wrap this up, if you could get in Matt Rule's head, why do you think he said the things that he said about Mike Eckler and the departure of Mike Eckler and special teams and all that stuff?
The glory of the special team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why do I think Matt Rule said those things?
Yeah.
Well, I think Rule is pretty transparent. So I think part of what he was saying in that moment was, we want to have coaches here who are not consistently trying to remake what vision Rule has as the head coach. There's just no other way. I think Mike Eckler has a lot of opinions, and he has a lot of thoughts, and he has a lot of desires, and he wants to coach a position, and he has opinions about, who's where and who's doing what. And, I just don't think that that's necessarily where Matt Rule envisioned his special teams coordinator being. I mean, they hired him as a special teams coordinator. I think when they went through the process, there was probably a pretty clear understanding of like, we want you to come back and do this, and you want to come back and do this. And there isn't a position coaching spot available right now. And so, when they let go of Butler, I'm sure there was a thought process of like Eckler wanting to position coach job and hoping that somebody who would take that job would then hire him to do that. And so, like, I think that's all part of it. And it's a unique situation because Eckler did a good job with special teams. Nebraska is one of the few places on the planet where a coach could be a celebrity. And the reason he isn't really because of this last year. It's back when we used to interview all the assistant coaches back in the Bo era, and he became sort of a celebrity back then. And then, and his arrival back, like a conquering hero or something. So like the assistant coaches aren't celebrities like they used to be. Maybe Holgerson, maybe, but like not really. Back then it was like, oh my God, Barney Cotton talked this week, and what did he say? And, and like, oh, Barney Cotton, and it was way too much about the assistants, and Eckler was all part of that. Eckler was saying stupid things back then and getting called out on it. We're going to beat Missouri or whatever. Or he didn't say that, but more like Missouri doesn't know what's coming for him, or game plan or whatever, whatever it was. And so, this is one of the few places on the planet where that's a big deal. And so his departure feels larger than it is because of that's just how this place is, and because he's from here. But he's going to USC, and he's going to go take a job out there, and he'll be there for a couple of years, and then he'll go to another place. That's just kind of how he is, and nothing wrong with that. He's made a great career doing that. Just don't think it was going to work between he and Nebraska. I mean, you come here to do a job. You're not necessarily being invited to remake all the recipes.
Just between the three of us, do you think Nebraska really likes its running backs that they chose never to play this past year? Like they really like the guy that they didn't play between games 4 and 13. Do you buy any of this, or is it we couldn't get what we want, couldn't afford what we wanted, so we really like what we have on our roster?
I think relative to the position they clearly thought they had to remake, which was the offensive line, yes, I think they would. So what they did is they went out and they bought 3 pretty expensive offensive linemen. I mean, those guys are not cheap. I don't know what all of them cost, but I would say each one of those guys costs more money than a mid-level running back. Running backs don't cost necessarily as much as we would think vis-a-vis linemen. And so I think there was a calculated decision made related to what they thought they needed to fix and what they thought they could go out and get. I suppose there's one more guy out there that if the money was right, then you could see it happen if that person entered the portal. But if they had really, really wanted to go get a running back, they could have paid whatever Iowa paid for the guy for South Dakota. If that's what they wanted to do. Like, I don't think that they were like short on money. I think they chose to spend it on the offensive line. Now, that in and of itself is a choice. Clearly, they feel like the offensive line was not nearly good enough last year, no matter what anybody said, because they went out and got 3 starters, and all 3 of those guys are going to jump over the guys that they've been developing for 2 or 3 years. And so I don't know if that's a question of the work that Donovan Riley was doing or what. Now, as it relates to the running back position, yes, I believe I do really believe that they think that Mekhi Nelson is a good football player, and they think that there's good things that he can do. And yeah, he didn't play much. They weren't running a lot of plays. They were running about, after the start. So for the season, they ran about 63 plays a game. But after the first 4 games, when they ran 69 plays a game, they ran about 58, 59 plays a game. And so Emmett was probably on the field for 48, 49, 50 of those, sure. But they just weren't playing that many plays. And then they weren't rotating, and they weren't necessarily using the guys that much. And so I think that's part of it. And I do think they really like Nelson. I think Mosey is an adjuster. You can use him as a back or a receiver. And then I think it comes down to Ives. So if they feel like Ives can be the power back and short yardage, that's probably what it comes down to. Again, do I think if they had really wanted to go out and like get Cam Edwards out of UConn, that they had the money to do that? I think that's possible. But I think they opted to do what they call the what do you call it? The efficiency play. And the efficiency play is you lean on multiple running backs who don't cost you that much money. The other thing is, if you add a portal running back, and let's say you pay him X amount of dollars, well, what's that going to do to the guys that are already in the room that aren't getting that? Like it's tricky. It's the Dante Dowdell, Emmett Johnson thing from last year, where it's like, Emmett left, and then Dana's like, no, I want Emmett to stay. And so he stayed, and they paid him to stay. And then Dante Dowdell got more money from Kentucky, and if Nebraska wanted Dowdell back, well, they're going to have to pay Emmett because they liked Emmett more anyway. And so, like, it was, there's that delicate dance. So I think a lot of this is bound up in Holgorsen. If Holgorsen says it's okay, then I think Nebraska's okay with it. Long answer, but I'm trying to navigate what I suspect has been majority of the conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot to it, that's for sure. Sam Mchuan from the Omaha World Herald. All right, Sam, appreciate it as always. We'll let you go. Have a good day.
All right, take care.
Sam
Thanks, Sam.
McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. We'll take a quick
with
break.
Dial tone there.
Yeah, he's a quick hanger-upper, I guess.
That was fast.
Bang. Does everything fast. Back after this on 1620, The Zone. All right. So Monday, and Tuesday, I guess, our Signetti of the day was Kurt Signetti. We have a different Signetti of the day. This is Kurt Signetti's daughter is the Signetti of the day. Shout out to Natalie Signetti for winning Signetti of the day today on January 21st. Why does Natalie Signetti win Signetti of the day, which is a great award and something that every Signetti would hope to claim one day? Well, long time ago, she shared a text message from 2019, December 8th, won a playoff game. Her dad did, Kurt, the current head coach at Indiana, won a playoff game at James Madison, scored 66 points, improved to 12-1 on the year. And she texted her father that day and she said, I'll put it up on the screen now, "Are you happy?" And he responded, "No." That's it. Simple, no emojis, no anything like that, just no. You could clearly tell by this text message that Kurt Signetti was not actually happy. No. Then we fast forward to the other night after the national championship game. Natalie Signetti did another tweet because that tweet was going, it was getting popular. It was going viral again. And
I love his dad JMU phone.
Dad JMU phone. This one is just dad from 2026. She followed up with dad and asked again, well, this tweet of mine from 2019 is surfaced randomly. Everyone's wondering if you are happy now, LOL. So are you happy? And Kurt Signetti responded and said yes, and then used several emoji exclamation points. So we are happy to report here at 1620 The Zone via the Twitter account of his daughter that Kurt Signetti is indeed happy, which I'm happy to hear.
I learned yesterday that a former coworker of mine has a sister that does watercolor paintings of houses. And one of the ones that she was asked, like, she does it, I guess, at a high level or whatever.
Amazing.
Yeah. One of the ones that she was
going?
apparently asked to do was the Signetti house.
Wow.
So that got tweeted out yesterday as well.
No kidding.
The Signettis are becoming a social media family, I guess.
I really, it's amazing. I really, really, really disliked him at first. Like
them or him?
Him, them, the whole thing. I'm like, this is dumb. I don't know why the internet wants this to happen so much. I didn't like it. And then I watched him. This is probably, early to midway through the season this year. And I'm like, oh no, this is not fake.
Yeah.
This is not fake whatsoever. And since then, Signetti, and he's talked about this before, he's dialed back on the whole, like, we're going to beat Michigan and we're going to beat Purdue and we're going to beat Ohio State and all that. Like, that was the opening night before he even coached a game at Indiana. He's dialed back on all that stuff. And now it's just him doing the funny looks across the sideline and him sort of being like a normal guy, but an absolute freak at the same time. Like, I'm enjoying the Signetti run right now. I can't wait. It would probably be tonight or something. I don't know, maybe it happened last night where he showed up on Jimmy Fallon's show or something like that. I need this. I want to see more. I want to watch this guy talk.
Yeah, so I like you initially, I was like, oh wow. Because when that video surfaced of him coming out and saying all of these programs suck and we're gonna beat them.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, he's going to be there for about 3 years and this is going to be over.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have their run. They stomp on Nebraska. He has his I think was it on game day where he was invited on and he sort of just said the thing where it was like, yeah, nobody wants to talk about us having good wins, but we just beat a team by 50 or whatever it was. And I was at that moment, I was like, I'm going to start thinking of this guy like he's a professional wrestler and everything he's doing is just cutting promos. And it made it more fun for me in that regard. I didn't think that this was going to be a multi-year thing. I thought last year was kind of like the big jump up and then they go back to like 8-4 this year. very early on, it was going into that Oregon game, and I was looking at it, it's like, what am I doubting at this point?
I know.
All he does is win. So it's like I picked him to beat Oregon. And when I've watched them play, it's like they're just good. Like everything about your eyes tell you when you watch them play football that they are good. I'm not doubting this anymore. I don't need to just pretend like this isn't happening. And then from that point forward, it's just sort of been enjoyable being on the other side of it. It's like, well, of course they're going to win.
I've found my life to be a lot less hateful and spiteful at this point. I've just enjoyed it.
The noise that I made when they jumped the first pass from Dante Moore and ran it back for a touchdown.
What a time.
Because it's just like, well, yeah, that has to be the way this game started.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing leading up to it is like, will Oregon learn from their mistakes when they take on Indiana in the second time? Then it's like, no. Indiana's just going to boat race them.
That's a great point, because I think, I don't know this for sure. I haven't like fact checked it in my head yet, but like outside of rooting for my own teams and rooting for like bets or something like that, when Fernando Mendoza scored in that 4th down run, I was probably like the most excited for a neutral sport watching experience as I've been in a while.
Are you anti-Miami? Is there any portion of it that's that?
Maybe like a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. Like I wanted Indiana to win.
So some of it is, for me, I often root for like the story of it. Like
Yeah.
I like the Indiana story. I wanted that to finish with a national championship far more than I wanted to see a random title from Miami. And so that was like a big portion of it.
Agreed.
We all want to see the upcoming movie of Kurt Signetti.
It's got to happen. I don't know how it doesn't.
I'm sure
we got to get past the John Madden movie and then see if Nicolas Cage wants to be Kurt Signetti.
I need him to show up on. I need him to show up on a night show, on a late night talk show tonight.
What if Kurt Signetti hosts Saturday Night Live?
That would be awesome. He should do that.
Can you imagine an opening monologue with him?
And they could have one of the impressionists, come out and do the face, and what's going on here. I love it. I need to see more, and I love that his daughter gave us a behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's great.
To the text message.
That's great.
Yes, I actually am happy now. Thank you for asking.
I just like seeing the SEC heads upset seeing another Big Ten team winning the national championship.
That part of it is fun too. They are like in knots right now, trying to figure out how to.
Paul Feinbaum should be banned from all things for a year.
He banned himself.
But he was going to move.
Yeah, I thought he was supposed to move to like
another country,
Mars or something. Yeah,
maybe he's going to go to Greenland.
Maybe. Stick to sports. All right, back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Big night for hoops around here. 6 o'clock tonight. We'll have Creighton basketball. You'll be able to hear it on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg, starting with courtside coverage with our dear friend John Bishop, Mr. Horse Crap, starting at 5:30 for a just post 6 o'clock tip-off tonight. Creighton and Xavier from downtown Omaha. And at 8, Nebraska and Washington. You will not be able to hear that on 1620 The Zone or 1019 The Keg or any of our fine NRG media stations.
I love the idea of John Bishop being known as Mr. Horse Crap.
Go ahead, Joey.
Horse crap call.
It was a bad call. Last night I was called out on the internet because we have an issue in college basketball, but especially women's college basketball with charges and offensive fouls. And I think refs really
Did you get
like
a large
calling them. I just sided kind of with the refs last night.
Do you know the rules? Apparently you don't.
I didn't do that on the ESPN broadcast of Creighton and Xavier last night. I did not do that.
Do you, Joey?
I did the exact opposite, in fact.
Do you have the one-eyed?
It's in the system. I could find it.
Okay, I enjoyed it.
One-eyed
Not
Pat,
even as good eye.
One-eyed Pat Driscoll.
Yeah. Not even as good eye.
We can't have our whole board just be filled up with John Bishop drops, right? There he is, right there. Go ahead, Joey.
And another assumptive call. This time, one-eyed Pat Driscoll used his bad eye on that one.
So that's a good sampling of what you'll find tonight on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg, Creighton and Xavier. What could go wrong? I want to talk about both of those games coming up here in just a few minutes. But let's put a bow on the Eckler report, the Eckler situation alert. All right. So it's reported last night that it's happening. I don't know that we expected anything different throughout this period of time. Like we've been talking about it in the past tense for a while now, dating back to, at the very least, last Friday when Rule went on the radio and said all those random things about him and special teams and what they were going to be going forward. Is there any more that we could add to this situation? Because I feel like we've been pretty clear with our thoughts of like, this is weird. It seems oddly like almost personal.
It does feel very personal.
And I don't really know what to make of it. Like, because I get it from Rule's side. If you guys don't jive and you feel like, I don't know, you can't work together or it doesn't, it just doesn't work for whatever reason, then, sure, say sayonara. If at the same time, that all existed last year and the special teams were great. Like the special teams were not only good, they were great. They went from really, really bad to great instantly. And it was because of the addition of that guy.
Yeah.
And so
his system.
It's just really difficult to square up, I think, for a lot of people. And that's why we're still talking about it today.
Yeah. And this is kind of where we've been, I think, both of us for most of this, which is if he'd had the opportunity to stay and he chose not to, then it's not effectively on Matt Rule that this is what Mike Eckler wants to do. I mean, you offered him a lot of money to do this thing, and he clearly wants more than just being the special teams coach, which is not really how things had been presented prior or what he was hired to do. And so, Sam talked about like he clearly had some other suggestions that weren't being utilized, and just seems like Mike Eckler feels like he doesn't have a voice here that matters, wants to go somewhere else. We'll see if he has a voice there that matters. Ultimately, Matt Rule has to be focused on what he wants to do for this program. My only real complaint about how this has been handled is sort of the need for him to go on the shows like the Zach Gelb show and then his own, with Sports Nightly. And yeah, you're going to get asked about it, but you can control your response to it. And I certainly don't think, especially with the Friday night one, like he didn't need to say that they'll be better next year. He made it personal and public in a way that it just never really needed to be.
Otherwise, we're not talking about this. Otherwise, we're not having this conversation.
That's my only real complaint from the Nebraska side of it. Otherwise, there's not much else you can do. If a coach wants to leave, he wants to leave.
Yeah,
it's not like you can kidnap him.
I don't think it's that. Like it's not that is frustrating. Obviously, people are wondering what it's going to be like on special teams next year. There's a way where they're good. I'm curious to.
I don't think they're going to be 2024 bad, but I took a lot of issue with don't tell people that you're going to be better when your previous history at this stop is being the worst special teams program in America.
Yeah,
and the guy that you put in charge and you told everyone was going to fix it brought you to the level of where you had to hire Mike Eckler in the first place.
Yeah.
So don't say that. Like, it was so irresponsible to do that. And that's why it comes across as petty. And I don't want that from a head coach.
I don't get why it had to happen. And I don't get why Rule, I shouldn't say I don't get it, but it's pretty clear that what Sam was talking about when we just talked to him, about a half hour ago, about the whole star coaches thing. Like, clearly there's something in there that Rule doesn't feel like he can, control, I guess is sort of probably a strong word, but like, Eckler says things and does things.
He wants
been here
clearly
before,
a top-down system where he is at the top.
He is a star coach because I think in part he's been here before. He even said at the beginning, Rule said at the beginning, I never really have been into the star coaches and stuff like that. But that star coach came along and did exactly what he was supposed to do, plus some. I mean, I don't think that anybody expected the special teams to be a top 15 unit in the country last year. We would have taken mediocrity.
My request was exceedingly competent.
Yes, mediocrity. It's
just competency was going to be a massive step forward.
And so I don't get why you can't put that away. You can't put this guy's a star coach and this is just not how we like to do it here, the top down thing.
I think it's because of what was coming back, like not publicly, but what was going on between where Eckler wanted things or was saying, like that's what Sam was intimating there. Yeah. That's what it sounds like, that he wanted more responsibility or more voice on stuff that wasn't specifically special teams, which is what they wanted him for.
And so this is the thing that Rule had to ultimately decide, like, can I throw that away and put it to the side and just accept, all right, he's going to say these things and he's going to want these things, but ultimately we have to keep him as our special teams coordinator because he is so good.
Yeah.
Obviously that did not happen. The
bet is on his system, not on Mike Eckler.
Correct.
That's what Matt Rule's doing.
Yeah.
Because if you're basically like, he put this in place and we know how we want to utilize it, we no longer need the guy.
Yeah. And so I think it's frustrating from a bunch of different angles. At this point, it's over. It's probably been over for several days. I don't know, I don't really know what we're, the only reason we're talking about it is obviously because of the stuff that Rule said on Friday night. You wondered, Schaefer, out loud here on our show rundown, if there is, Mike Eckler has bounced around a lot in his career. Is there a chance a few years down the line and things have changed that Mike Eckler returns to Nebraska? Like, it doesn't feel like it's an anti-Nebraska thing for Mike Eckler. At least that's not the impression that I'm
sometimes getting. A guy like Ron Brown worked for how many different coaches at Nebraska, before.
I mean, he's worked for everyone. Yeah.
Effectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me if, 5 years down the line, if there's a different head coach at Nebraska, because I don't think it's happening with Matt Rule again. But if there's a different head coach at Nebraska, if Mike Eckler isn't back here, I'm fascinated to know if Mike Eckler has designs on, like, is it more than just also having a position? Does he eventually want to be a defensive coordinator again? Does he want to be a head coach? Like clearly he wants more involvement with whatever he's doing.
Yeah, Rule had a little comment when he was talking about it on Friday. He said, just kind of off to the side, like, oh yeah, we went with Rob as our defensive coordinator. It did make me think that maybe he was angling for that Eckler was angling for the
or
DC
he was angling
job.
For someone that he was familiar with that could put him in a different role.
Potentially.
Yeah. Or give him more.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'm
more of the mindset where it's like, you're really great at this thing, and that's what you're being brought in for. Like that's more of what I'm interested in.
I obviously he is, but I think him being good at coaching that is portable to other things. Because I think why he's such a good coach is because of his infectious energy and his ability to teach. Like, and that carries on with whatever you're going to do.
I don't know that there's like a great track record of like when he's left places. I don't think people have been like, oh no, we've lost a linebackers coach that'll be hard to replace. Where he's left special teams, it's kind of been that.
Sure.
So that's sort of where I'm coming at.
He's definitely had more success there.
Yeah. He's only notable in the sense that he is because he was here before and that his special teams were really good and immediately good at Nebraska.
Right.
Not because of no one's like, oh, when he was the linebackers coach at Nebraska and they replaced him with Ross Ells, the linebacker play dropped off. No, it was Levante David left.
Yeah.
Like that's effectively what it was. Now, recruiting, he was a great recruiter in the sense that, again, he could effectively recruit the student athlete by the energy and the infectious nature of who he is and everything else.
A lot of Mike Eckler going into living room stories.
Yes. I don't know, like, as a linebackers coach, if his value is the same as what it's been as a special teams coach.
Yeah, no.
Which is why I'm more on the position that I am with it.
Yeah. So either way, Nebraska's going to –
But I would say there's a better than 50% chance that we're not done with Mike Eckler at Nebraska.
Interesting.
Yeah. In the 2030s, Mike Eckler will be an assistant coach at Nebraska. Put it on the board.
He's not very old, and he doesn't it's not like he's not going to be coaching. He's going to be coaching for a while.
Think about a new coach that comes in and they're like, oh, how could I throw some red meat to the fan base? The funny part about all of this is...
And there's proven things to show that it works, right? Like he can come in here and have success.
The funny part about all of this to me is like he's a Nebraska guy, but he went to Kansas State. So it's like it's always...
I know.
He's a Nebraska guy because he's from here.
It's always been unclear to me, Schaefer, like, is he, like there was so much excitement, I think, from his side when he came back. And, everybody just got the sense of, oh, yeah, he's going to be here because he just wants
that's
to.
What Matt Rule is sort of saying without just outright saying it. Like, he wanted to be here, so be here.
Yeah.
Like, when he said, I want to be here, so I chose to stay here.
And once again, Rule didn't want to hire him in the first place.
Right. For exactly, I think, what played out.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Whatever. Brands.
See you in 2030s.
Special team. See you in the 2030s. Mike Eckler. Nebraska's special teams. They'll have a high bar to jump over next season. All right. Let's take a break. We'll get to the basketball coming up tonight. Both local basketball teams in action. But first, I have a ticket giveaway. It's for the Omaha Supernovas. They are in town tomorrow, 7:00 at CHI Health Center. Would you like to go? I would like you to go. All you have to do is call right now, 402-951-1620, and be caller number 4 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Caller number 4 is going to win a pair of tickets to the Supernovas and the Columbus Fury tomorrow night at CHI Health Center. Once again, caller number 4, 402-951-1620. Joey will hook you up with that, and we'll be back to talk some hoops after this on 1620 The Zone. Alex writes in on YouTube, newsflash, Buc-ee's is coming to Gretna. Actually, Alex, newsflash, Buc-ee's is coming to Omaha. At least that's what I heard.
It's making the rounds in my group text. Everyone's saying Gretna.
That's weird.
They're not giving Omaha the credit that you want here.
What are they going to do with the water tower? Are they going to paint it Buc-ee's colored now?
What
Are
a
they
part
gonna
of
put
the
a
deal
big
was they
chipmunk
gave
on there?
they
Sarpy
gave
County's
Buc-ee's
the
the
hot
water
spot.
tower.
If they give what?
They gave Buc-ee's the water tower, like the Buc-ee's
That's
logo.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Just all of it.
Put
That's
the-
what it needs to
Put
be.
the stupid chipmunk on there, and then all of a sudden you're the Buc-ee's capital of Nebraska.
Gretna changes its name to Buc-ee's, Nebraska.
Buc-eesville.
Buc-eesville.
Buc-ee's Crossing.
Buc-ee's Crossing. Way better than Nebraska Crossing.
It's such a big place. Have you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
Oh, yeah. I've been several times.
I've only been to one ever, and well, maybe two, but I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is going on?
I'm
Where
fairly
am I?
certain Max Olson took me to the original, which is between Austin and San Antonio by San Marcos.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
The first time I ever went in, it's like just going to a Walmart that is a gas station. The stuff that stands out, exceedingly clean. They have an entire wall of just like jerky and snacks, and it's inconceivable. And then a few years ago, they decided they wanted to be better in the barbecue game. Like they felt like they were not good enough with their barbecue. So they went out and hired like a renowned barbecue master.
Brisket on the board.
So
That's what they say.
To basically have people like want to go there for lunch.
I know.
And it
People go there.
worked.
Yeah, I went to Costco yesterday and I saw a bunch of people choking down hot dogs and pizza and ice cream, and it became a lunch destination.
I'm like surprised it's as aggressive in its expansion as it has been. Like the last time I was at one, it was in Georgia.
Me too. Part of the charm is almost that it's like it's a Texas, or Texas area.
And I will say the
type of
Georgia
thing.
one didn't feel the same to me.
The one that I went to, I think was in, I think I went to another one, but the one that I remember going to was in the one in Auburn, the famous one in Auburn, the SEC Buc-ee's or, whatever they did. Yeah. The one in Auburn, Alabama. A great time. And it didn't feel right. I was like, this isn't Texas.
It's not Texas.
I'm in Alabama.
But it's still Buc-ee's. It's still great. I bought the last one I was at. I bought the seasoning for my barbecued meats.
Oh, really?
So I could have Buc-ee's barbecue seasoning.
How is it? Is it good?
It was good. It was very good.
That's good. I don't think that I would ever do that.
You wouldn't buy seasoning?
Not from Buc-ee's. I don't want Buc-ee's brisket. I want barbecue brisket. Like there's better seasonings for brisket, right?
Yeah, it could be.
Get a Joe's.
I mean, they have a
Kansas City
separate
brisket.
steak seasoning, brisket seasoning, and then barbecue seasoning.
I don't know. More gourmet. I'd go with someplace that's.
Let's be honest. You just want Joe's seasoning,
probably.
Like if we're just cutting to the chase here.
All right, I apologize from before. I said we were at a doubleheader in basketball tonight. I forgot about UNO playing as well. The Mavs are back in action tonight. It feels like Creighton and Omaha always end up playing on the same night. So it'll be the Mavs in South Dakota tonight. I don't have my my program director with me here, but usually those games will air. Joey can handle this.
They should probably. I think it's
1290 coil. 1290 coil. So that would be where it's going to end up tonight. And the Nebraska women play tonight on the road at Wisconsin. According to Lady Torvik, don't worry, I do have parody songs. I just can't find them right now. They are about.
It was a very stressful break for one of us.
They are about 14-point favorites, 13 or 14-point favorites.
All right.
At Wisconsin, who in my time of being around Nebraska women's basketball, Wisconsin has literally never been good. So good luck to them.
I got them available to play off the computer.
Oh, hit me with one of the Lady Torvik stingers.
Hold on.
Okay. You look like Lady Torvik. Thank you. That's all we need.
I would have let it play a little longer.
No, that's it. That's all there is.
Oh.
There's literally no more. I made 3 stingers, and that's it. I did it in about 8 minutes.
I could play the
We'll
others.
spend 24 minutes and air them out a little.
Turn
longer.
it down a little bit, but yes, play me another one, please. Lady Torvik. Oh, that's a good one. All right, we'll just play 2. We'll keep the other one.
Okay. There could be a mystery one.
All right, so we haven't talked about Creighton since they lost on Friday night against Providence, which a game that people looked at and said, yeah, that path that we were talking about, that's a different path. It's a path that leads to a different place at this point. And I think there's been a little bit of almost like not quite eulogizing the season, but almost like we kind of figured we were going to end up at this point. It was fun while it lasted, that type of thing. At the same time, I'll mention this. They are 5-3 in the league. It's not over. They're still going to have a good chance to be in the top, 3, 4, 5 of the Big East Conference, which, maybe end up in the NCAA tournament still. Like I think it's funny that it seems unlikely at this point. I definitely agree with you there.
Well, the only path they have to, you said it the other day, they have to win the game against UConn at home.
Yeah.
Because they have to juice their resume.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe you do something incredible and go on the road and win against UConn, or go on the road and win against St. John's or something like that. So like it's still out there for them, although it most certainly seems unlikely at this point. And it's funny because like we have to square this all up in context. They've been such a remarkably consistent program, and this year it's just been inconsistent. They're going to probably still win 18, 19, 20 games this season, which a lot of programs in the country would like to have, especially when you pair it along with Creighton's NCAA tournament success over the last 5 years, 5 straight years where they've won at least one NCAA tournament game. And so I want to say that like the main point here is sometimes you just have seasons like this. I don't want to make it like this big, like, oh, they did this in NIL and got all, got out of whack this way. Like what happened was you lost an all-time great player and you tried to replace him in a variety of different ways. You lost a great senior class. You lost a bunch of players that have been around for a long time. And this is going on years back now, but you lost a little bit of that backbone and that consistency, and you had to rebuild it. And it was going to be tough to do so. Oh, and by the way, Jason Green, who has been awesome this year, playing out of position and hurt. Jackson McAndrew was one of those core pieces, hurt right away, out for the rest of the season. Like, so I feel like we lack that context when we talk about Creighton. And I don't know why. We've come to expect a lot. And
well, it certainly doesn't
It's not
help that the team down the road is undefeated and having a monster season.
Do you think that has an impact?
I think it does.
I don't know.
Well, one, I think that there's people that pay attention to that basketball team when this one isn't as good. So you lose some of the interest in that.
Maybe.
And I think you're always going to be positioned against each other. So some of it is, why couldn't Nebraska find the consistency that Creighton has? Right now, it's how is the team that spent half of the amount of money in NIL doing what they're doing?
Yeah.
Well, they're sort of dumb questions to ask of each other, because what they're trying to do is sort of different all the way around. A lot of it to me, and this is just the outside perspective of it, and people well know that I don't follow Creighton near to the level of anybody else. I am following them more now. But it doesn't seem like they do anything particularly well on the basketball court. And that makes life really hard. They do everything sort of okay.
They are inconsistent.
Yeah. I mean, they
do almost everything they do.
They do everything largely okay. Defensively, I would say is more bad than okay. Like they can get to below average, generally. But that makes life really difficult. And then you mentioned the key thing. Like they were coming off of a golden run. Usually what happens in that regard, you take a slight step back. Like very few people can sustain it forever. I mean, even the best teams have a season where it's just a question of how far back it goes.
Yeah, I think that the truth is like they were going to need, and I talk about this in the past tense, like it's over. But like I said, it feels like things changed on Friday night a little bit.
If they don't win tonight, it's over.
You're
lighting candles in the morning, and there's a reef, and
Josh would be canceling people. I think if they lose tonight. So I think if you once again square this up in context, you were gonna probably need some things to go right for you quickly in order for it to look good. That's just talking about this season. That is this season in a vacuum. That is not talking about last season and what the standard has been and what the expectation has been and all that stuff. Point blank period. You look at the roster that you had, the places that you brought them in from, how many faces were new. You were going to need things to go right for you right off the bat. They got smacked at Gonzaga. Jackson McAndrew goes down. Freeman's hurt preseason, and he, still isn't like, I don't know. Maybe he's fully back from an energy standpoint at this point, but obviously that thing has gone off the tracks at this point. And Greer got hurt, and all these, and Jason's been playing hurt the entire year. Like and Dix was slow at first, and Schwartz just came on like in the Nebraska game when they were getting blown out, right? Like that's sort of a revelation. It's just been up and down and inconsistent and this and that. And you were going to need it to be awfully consistent right away if you were looking at doing some of the things that you have done over the last couple of years. And it was going to be a lot. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be better right now, but I do want people to acknowledge the context. I do want people to acknowledge that, all of that stuff, not only what they've had to endure this year, but also what they have been and how high of a bar that has been.
And they set the bar for themselves. You're a victim of your own success in that regard. And then also the preseason expectations were that this was a top 25 team. I mean, I thought when things initially came together the way they did, that there was really high expectations when you go out and you get Josh Dix and what Freeman was expected to be.
For the record, everybody was talking about all sorts of nonsense about how high this team could go before the season. I was tampering those.
Yeah, and
I knew what they have. I know what they asked them to do over there, and I know how difficult it is to do that with a whole bunch of new faces. I know how hard it is. So I thought like back, and you can listen to my stuff from September. I thought back into the top 25.
Yeah, and so
and obviously they haven't been that either.
The word coming out of the summer was tamping down some of what was happening in the spring. I mean, the spring was a fever pitch of like, this
because they went out and got everybody.
They're going to reload and look at what they can do. And, they went and got these guys. And no, I fully admit that. And the expectation was that, a guy like Josh Dix would go from Iowa and could come to Creighton and be in that system and would just be
and he's been excellent, by the way.
Phenomenal. Yeah. And he's been good, but you haven't gotten the other piece of it with Freeman. You mentioned all the injuries. So some of it is that they haven't been able to meet the standard of which they set for themselves.
Yeah.
Which again happens in college sports when you have to reload. You mentioned all the injuries.
And so I just don't think we have to make more of it than that. Like,
people want the Nebraska fans want you to make more of it.
Oh, that's true, but I don't listen to them.
Yeah, fair. Secondly, there's always going to be how did this happen? Which then wants to be the retrospective of what did they get wrong more often than not? And some of that is, as you look into the portal, you have this money to spend, like what led them to doing this? How did it go this way? How do you avoid it happening again in the future? So that's where a lot of
there was a lot on Freeman.
And the thing is that you said they're not dead in the water. I mean, they still have the opportunity to play out of it.
And I think, just like over the last couple games, you're starting to see it a little bit from Owen. He didn't practice yesterday because he was sick. And so he's got that going on just as he's starting to play a little bit.
Put him in a bubble.
So it's just this and that and this and that sort of all season long. And it's no mystery why they haven't been able to find the consistency, And I think there will be a different approach in the offseason, and there will be a lot of different things about next year's team, that's for sure. But it doesn't have to be this like, it's over. Like they're having a rough year for them, which is a good year for a lot of teams.
Yeah, no,
I would say
they're being passed up by a real basketball school down the road. It is over.
Go ahead. What do you have to say about Nebraska ball tonight?
They play Washington. They have an opportunity to go 19-0. They are borderline
19-0,
very close to being a lock for the NCAA tournament without having to do
I think so.
anything else. Yeah. So we have that on the line here. I'm excited for the matchup. Rink Mass, the lottery pick from Washington, whose name I can never say. Steinbach, right?
I believe so.
Something like that. Not entirely sure that's even correct either.
I think it is.
So I'm looking forward to that. This is a game I kind of expect Nebraska to win by double digits, with Washington coming in from afar, and just what Nebraska's done recently to Northwestern and with Oregon because of the casual brutality in which they play with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see that tonight.
You want to see some casual brutality?
I would like to see some casual
brutality. You have
brutality.
the option too, but it'll be late with our dear friend Kevin Kugler on the call.
8 p.m. tip
on the BTN.
I don't know what game will happen before it, but I'm predicting it'll be close and late, probably go to overtime, and
I don't know.
Nebraska fans will be unhappy.
We'll check that during the break. One final segment when we return, and a note about Nebraska's quarterback commit for 2027 after this on 1620 The Zone. But first, a word from our friends at Underdog Fantasy, where the football players are here. And Underdog is the best place to get in on all the gridiron action. You can make picks and win money right now in Nebraska. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get those right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So whatever you'd like on the board this weekend, whether it's a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, higher or lower on those stat categories, and you can become a winner. It's that simple. What are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code HAPPER1620 to score $75 of bonus entries when you play your first $5. Promo code HAPPER1620. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing good terms _DFS_.html for details. Concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, running a little late. Apologize, but do want to hit one more thing before we get out of here and get to the crossover, where we certainly talk about nonsensical things. This might be a nonsensical thing to some. It's Trey Taylor. Trey Taylor, Nebraska's quarterback commit for the 2027 class, has been committed to Nebraska for quite some time. He's a very public person, public in his love of Nebraska.
Is Trey Taylor the most popular quarterback Nebraska has?
Like, including the ones on the roster?
That's a joke, yes.
Yes.
It's not even close. He
I
might
don't
be the
think
most
so.
popular player Nebraska
The
has.
internet loves him, and he loves the internet. That is for sure.
Loves the internet, but also Nebraska.
I'd heard this, heard a rumbling of this a couple weeks ago, and it turns out to be true. Trey Taylor is transferring from his high school in Illinois, Carmel Catholic, to Millard South.
Yep.
Millard South, where he will be a Millard South Patriot. I do believe we are just getting the updated state championship odds from the list. What's that? Minus. Okay. All right. Never mind. Trey Taylor on Twitter says this in response to the news coming out today. This decision was not taken lightly. I'll be living in Lincoln and commuting to Omaha. Trey Taylor, handshake meme, John Bishop.
Wow.
So any chance I'm allowed in the facilities, I'll be there. Kind of a redshirt year at a slower pace. Number two, I don't want to miss a single recruit that comes in. None of this is possible without my coach and his support and him giving me the green light to go be great. Nothing but love. And of course, my teammates back at Carmel, my progress was faster because of you. Thank you, Corsairs community. That is the mascot of Carmel High School. What is going on?
The part about this that sort of just kills me is that he couldn't have just gone to Lincoln East. That tells you everything you probably need to know about Lincoln football at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose if he was going to go to I would have figured that it would have been like, Southwest or something like that, but it's going to go to Millard South.
It's going to be fun commuting.
It's not that far of a drive, depending on, maybe he'll live in Waverly. Maybe he'll get the spare room at Rule's house. If he goes Waverly to Millard South, we're looking at probably about 40 minutes tops, maybe 38 minutes, something like that. It's doable.
Yeah. See, so from where I used to live, which was the edge of Lincoln, to Millard South, probably about 55 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So depending on where exactly, but if you're just trying to get to the stadium, right around there.
Better get that Buc-ee's ready.
Happer's meme guy writes in, that's a great point. Happer's meme guy writes in, there was a social media influencer quarterback void around here with Dylan gone, and somebody had to fill the spot.
He filled it before Dylan had left.
That's true, but now he actually gets to
now
live
he gets
here.
to be he's QB1 in that.
I'm the captain now.
Quarterback one influencer. All right, number one recruiter in the 2027 class, Trey Taylor, going to play at Millard South.
Can you imagine how
there's some rumblings, by the way, of some other high school transfers that are going around?
I think this might be the start.
Yeah.
So
just
there's got to be a lot of unhappy Class A football coaches, people in general.
A lot going on. All right, that'll do it for us today. I'm sure Matt and John and Josh in the afternoon will react plenty to that very confusing news. If you missed anything on this show today, you can find it at 1620thezone.com. Let's step aside for the crossover coming up next.